I promise you this event you are really going to take a lot away from this event because we have people that have done it, people that have gone through the process, and they'll be here sharing their experience and how they've been able to succeed even throughout all the unfortunate or discouraging messages they've gotten, how they've been able to pull through all the process. So trust me, you are going to have a very great evening. You're going to have a lot to take away this evening. So I would like to introduce myself. I'm Olajuwon Yakub, and I'm honored to be your host this evening, partnered by my ever vibrant Rukoyat Balogun. And you can see, Rukoyat, can you give us a brief introduction about yourself, please? Rukoyat, is she here? Oh, I guess she's not with us now.
I am with you.
Oh, all right.
Good
Introduce
evening,
yourself.
everyone. My name is Rukoya Balogun, and I currently study MSc Data Analytics and Tech at the University of Bolton. I am also holding a position as the student chair of IEEE community in my school. So IEEE is a global community. Entails departments under electrical, electronic, and engineering, and has branch all over the world. So I'm currently chair of the student branch in the University of Bolton. So I'm going to be your co-host in this wonderful event alongside Olajuwon Yakub, who's going to also introduce himself.
All right, thank you very much, Rukoyat. So let me just give let me start again. I'm Olajuwon Yakub, and I'm the chairman of the Bolton Data Community and also the IEEE student development. And yeah, I think basically I'm also studying masters in data analytics in the University of Bolton too. Well, I'm done. Required. We are waiting for you to come. All right, let's go. But let me quickly drop something before we continue actually. And that's going to lead me to our conversation. I think every football fans currently knows what happened this evening. The unexpected actually happened. The unexpected. After having a very bad season, United fans are actually buzzing right now. I'm a United fans and I'm buzzing. It's crazy. We never expected it. So they had United had a very bad season. But I think at the end of it all, they had something to hold on to at the end of the season. They won the FA Cup final. For those that are not familiar with the football. So also I spoke with a friend yesterday and he told me he has gotten a job, and he said something that actually struck the chord. He said after a very after a lot of unfortunately, he finally got one out of all the unfortunately. He got a yes, and he said he just take a yes to do. He just take a yes. So also as students, as international students coming to the UK, we only need that yes. Fine, you get a lot of unfortunately message. Your background does not fit a lot of yes, a lot of messages like that. But like United, I want you to believe that at the end of it all, you have something to hold on to. You have a yes to hold on to at the end of your journey. So join us. I want you to take your time, listen, and take note, if possible, to every ideas, to every experiences, to every learnings you're going to be getting this evening. I want you to take your time and listen and get rid of every distraction, because trust me, you don't want to be distracted in this session. You don't want to be distracted. So I want to take your time, jot down necessary points that needs to be jotted down. Take your time. So I welcome you again to this event, and I hope you get a lot. Not even I hope, I'm sure you get a lot at the end of it all. So before we continue, I would like our speakers to kindly introduce themselves, just a brief introduction. Then after their brief introduction, then we move in to the questions, will be which will be coordinated by Required Balogun.
Yes.
I'll be introduced. I would like our speaker starting from, is Jacob with us? Jacob, is he with us?
Hi, good afternoon.
All right, Jacob, welcome. Thank you very much we are honored to have you this evening. Okay.
The pleasure is all mine.
All right.
Can you guys hear me clearly?
Yeah, sure, we can.
All right. Hi everybody. My name is Oluwafemi Jacob. I'm also an alumni of University of Bolton. I studied cloud and network security. I think most people here are data analysts.
Your mic is muted, Femi.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't know when I got muted. What was the last thing you guys heard?
You said you studied cloud and network security.
Oh, fantastic. All right. So I studied cloud and network security. I think I might be the only networking cloud cybersecurity person. Everybody here seems to be from a software or a data background. So pretty much I currently work as a cybersecurity analyst. Prior to that, I pretty much just changed my job in the past month or thereabouts. Before that, I worked as kind of like a security engineer with one of the councils here in the UK. And just about last year, May or thereabouts, I graduated from the University of Bolton. So brief summary about me.
All right. Thank you very much, Femi. That was brief and straight to the point. Thank you. So do we have Faiza in the house? Faiza?
Hi, yes, you do.
All
Can
right,
you hear
good
me?
evening. Yeah, we can
Good
hear you.
evening. Would you like me to introduce myself now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Faiza Jibril. I'm also an alumni of the University of Bolton. I studied data analytics. Data analytics and technologies last year, and my graduation is in July. So you guys are all invited. I currently work as a software engineer with JP Morgan Chase, and it's been a very interesting experience moving from data analytics to working as a software engineer. And I'm happy to be here today.
All right. Thank you very much, Faiza. And we are happy to have you too.
Sure.
All right. Do we have Victor in the house? Victor.
Yeah, hi John.
All right. Thank you, Victor. All right.
Yeah, hi everyone. Okay, my name is Victor, and I'm not an alumni of Bolton University. Yeah. So I came in through like Global Talent visa route. Yeah, so and in terms of my work, I work with an hedge funds company, Digital Vega. So I work as a software engineer also. It's really nice to be here, John, and I think like this is a great like meetup to talk about, experience and our story and share our journey.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think Victor missed something out. I worked with Victor when I was in Nigeria. I worked in his company. He's also a CEO.
Yeah, I'm also an entrepreneur, and yeah, I like I run like a tech innovation hub in Nigeria. So I kind of like focus on upskilling people and supporting startups. So, I do more of that in Nigeria, but yeah, I work as an engineer. So that's more reason why I decided to focus on my like engineering part here in the UK. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Victor.
Thank
All right.
you.
Do we have Jennifer in the house, please? Jennifer?
Yeah, you do. Hello.
Hi, good
Hi,
evening,
guys.
Jennifer.
Good evening.
All right.
So yeah, my name is Jennifer. I'm a product manager at a ticketing company. Background, I don't have any technical educational background. I studied accounting in University of Lagos. And prior before being a product manager, used to lead growth and brands communication at a fintech company in Lagos. And yeah, did go to Bolton as well. So I'm not probably Bolton alumni. But yeah, that's like pretty much about my history.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Jennifer. It's nice to have you.
Yeah.
Is Abdulrazak here with us?
Yes, I am.
All right, Abdulrazak, thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody.
All right, good evening, Abdulrazak.
I see my mentors in the house. And my Oga, Victor Moses. Good afternoon, sir. Yeah, my name is Abdurazak Adidamola. I'm also a University of Bolton recent graduate, although we've not done graduation yet. I came in last year. Was it last year or 2 years ago? I'm sure September cohort, yeah. Data analytics and technologies, like they say.
All right.
My mentor is eyeing me already. Jibril Pfizer. She has been the one taking care of me since I came into the UK. All the
That's
jobs,
great.
all the accolades, deservingly. So I currently work as a technical information analyst for Leeds Teaching Hospital, the second largest NHS trust in the UK. They say I should be adding it to it in case this thing gets out and it gets to my director's table, so that they will know that. And it's been quite exciting working here. Okay, as far as introduction comes, in line with what we are doing here today, I also worked as a more of a research analyst, or in a supervisory capacity for Lagos State Ministry of Health. I worked on some projects with them, so I would say I have a bit of experience in data collection, integration, and analytics generally. So I think as we go on, we get to talk more about who we are, what we do, and how we eventually got a job in the UK. So I'll stop here as far as it goes.
All right. Thank you very much,
for having us. Thank you for the setup. Thank you for the effort.
Yeah, we're actually honored. We are honored to have you guys too for giving us your time and wanted to share your experience with us. We are really honored. We are really honored. Thank you very much. So next, I also want to recognize the presence of our SU President, the University of Bolton, Victor Moses. Victor, could you kindly introduce yourself to us before we continue the session? We have to honor our president. Because of you, we are able to do this. All right.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Victor Moses, Bolton Student Union President. Although I'll be leaving the office in a short time from now, but it's been a privilege serving the student community and being part of initiatives like this. And I must commend you all for the hard work you're doing for your peers. And I know that someday you'll be in panels like this, mentoring people, guiding people. It starts from somewhere. Yeah, thank you. Good evening, everyone.
All right, thank you, Victor. Thank you for joining us this evening. So I'll pass the mic down to my co-anchor, Rukayat Balogun, to start with the questions, and we start get your notes ready, get your pen ready, and start jotting out the necessary information that you need. Rukayat, it's over to you.
You know, this was not the agreement, but you're in public space. I'm not going to drag you. I'll drag you after.
All right, it's fine.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, my name is Rukayat Balogun, and we have so many interesting and wonderful people here. And I know that we all have vast knowledge in our knowledge area, and some of us we are alumni of the school, and some of us are not alumni. So we have structured the questions to be able to fit into the category of speakers that we have. So I'm going to start my question from the University of Bolton alumni. And my first question, I'm going to ask the question and I'm going to call the names of the people that I want them to talk about the question. So can you describe your journey from being an international student to securing your first job in the UK? So this question goes to the, I'm sorry, it's not gender bias or anything, but this question goes to the only female of the only alumni female in the house, which is Faiza. Faiza, can you go on with the question?
Hello. Yeah, my journey. It's been an interesting journey, like I mentioned. So I got into the UK same time as Abdulrazak. That was 2022 September, I believe. And when I got in, I knew what I wanted and I knew where I wanted to be. So I wasted no time in starting my applications. Once I was settled in with school and I kind of understood the application process in the UK, doing that kind of gave me a head start as I was able to get through my rejections and my hiring processes. And by November, I was able to get my first offer. So yeah, that was basically my journey, I guess. So I got my first offer in November, but I didn't start until July, when I had started my projects and everything. And it was such a hassle at the time. It was so stressful, but alhamdulillah, I guess. That's it.
Okay, thank you for that very short and precise response. Myself, I have a very similar experience, but this is not about my own experience. I'll probably talk about it later. The next person I'm gonna be calling is Abdulrazak. Can you share with us your experience? You know, if you want me to take the question again, I can go ahead and take it again if you don't mind.
Yeah, please do take the question again.
All right. So can you describe your journey from being an international student to securing your first job in the UK?
Yeah. Aspire is a journey. Okay. Once again, good evening, everybody. So I came in September. If you are saying securing my first job, you mean the technical analyst job or securing other jobs in the UK?
More of an IT role. I don't know if you've actually secured one before the analyst role or.
So I'll come in with, okay, the first things first, coming in, settling down, getting to understand the environment, looking at, I think the first thing you should do if you don't have anything is, I decided to optimize my LinkedIn. I didn't fervently use LinkedIn in Nigeria because it wasn't more in the purview of what I was looking for back when I was home. So I think coming in, I set up my LinkedIn, decided I was going to go into research analytics. So everything I did on my page there was optimizing my LinkedIn for research analyst job. And just like Faiza said, one of the first hurdles I had to face was, because you're limited to 20 hours weekly, and because most of the jobs you see, I was more interested in contract jobs then. I like contract roles because they pay more and you don't have to commit for a long time. So one of the first things I faced then was, most of the jobs I saw were permanent and long-term, full-time jobs. So I had some recruiters talk to me on LinkedIn and they were, oh, we can't take you now because what we want to offer is more permanent and we'll have to take you longer hours. I won't be able to put you around those hours you are only able to work. So September, October, I just had to settle for doing something else while I work towards getting what I wanted after. So as we were heading towards the end of our program, started to revamping your CV, understand I think one of the most important things I did was understand how the UK system works in terms of the job market. What do the recruiters want? What do they look for? Because back home, you're not particularly optimizing your CVs for application tracking system, the ATS that they use, which is very, very important here. So understanding the environment, okay, preparing my CV to scale over this ATS, getting to write your CVs and your letters in a way that the recruiters here will be able to pick out what you can do, the kind of experiences you have. So I started actively applying in September. I just realized, okay, well, after getting one or two contacts of recruiters contacting me on LinkedIn telling me, oh, we looked at your CV, we see that you're fit for this job. I think a lot of people will definitely start getting that too. Can you please apply for this role? So you started making applications for them. You start seeing the unfortunately coming when you do easy apply on. I like easy applying, or these options on LinkedIn where you just do easy apply. Can apply for multiple jobs in a day, but know that this thing will not work. It's like gambling. But when I think it was in November that okay, this is how to apply for jobs in the UK. This is how to I was inspired by the chat. So I started applying actively in November. I know when I really understood, okay, this is what I was doing, getting to understand, okay, this is how the UK system works. And I started getting more interviews then. I saw this particular one. Like I said, I wanted contract jobs, but when I saw this particular role, I didn't really want to work for the NHS, but when I saw this particular role, I read through the job description and it was really, it was something that really caught my eyes. It was really what I wanted. But then I made the application, painstakingly made the application, because anybody that knows applying for NHS jobs, it takes a lot of time. It's not easy apply. Easy apply is what I'm very sure I've applied for over 10,000 easy apply jobs. So any application that requires me filling too much information, you don't pass one page. Let me just paste my CV and go. That was what I wanted. But this thing took me, I think it took me 4 hours. I tell almost everybody this story. It took me almost like 4 hours to fill because I was very lazy with applying. Once I think it took me almost 4 hours to apply. I will maybe fill 2-3 lines, go away, maybe go and play game, watch movie, come back. But I eventually applied and I got the offer. I applied, they called me, I went for the interview and got the offer. After that, I got 2 more interviews but I didn't go because this particular one just stuck with me. It was everything that I wanted. I wanted to work in Azure, I wanted to work with the cloud. It was integrating and it was even working in the healthcare. So it was what I really wanted. I think that summarizes the journey from being an international student, coming to the UK, getting to understand the environment, then making applications at first, ignorant applications, then getting to know, oh, okay, I had to do a bit of research to know how to apply here, to catch these people's attention, and finally getting that particular job that I wanted. Yeah, it's been smooth and it's been interesting, with lots of unfortunates for me to apply.
Thank you very much, Adedamola, for that beautiful insight.
Yeah, I will. Sorry, let me take note of the professor in the house. Good evening, sir. Professor Celestine, I observe your sneaking in.
Thank you very much, Adedamola, for that.
Thank you very much. Just sneaked in to see what you guys are doing. We're all internationals and
thank you, sir.
You too.
Good evening, Dr. Celestine. We really appreciate you for taking time to join us. If you are a student of University of Bolton, I'm sure we all know who Dr. Celestine is. He's one of the most notable professor in the University of Bolton and also in all the universities in the UK at large. He's also on a global talent visa as
doing all the introduction. Just no. Continue with all your
we need to. He's also a Nigerian, like most of us, and he is also
Kindly mute your mic, Dave. Thank you.
He's also the student coordinator, IEEE chapter, and the kingmaker of IEEE at large. So thank you very much for joining the event, sir. So I'm going to move on to Jacob. Jacob, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm with you. Hi, good afternoon. The question, right?
I can see Faisal there. Hey, long time, miss you.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Miss you too.
Okay, good.
Good evening. I'm here, Sue. Right. So the journey from being an international student to my first role, I think someone kind of mentioned maybe giving a bit of idea about my background or our general background and all. For me, when I moved to the UK, I had a bit of experience. I worked initially some 2 years as an IT administrator. So basically anything that has to do with servers, networking and things like that, that was kind of like my first job. Then I moved into cybersecurity, where I worked as an analyst and also as a cybersecurity engineer. So I think just something kind of like similar to what Abdulrazak said. But for me, I was using LinkedIn quite well in Nigeria. I guess maybe due to my own industry, we tend to use a lot of LinkedIn, connect with people who had things here and there to share. So literally from the very first week in this country, where I switched my location from Lagos, Nigeria to the United Kingdom, Manchester. I think I picked Manchester. Literally from that very first week, I think I also maybe uploaded my CV to either Total Jobs or one of the maybe CV Library, either of them. From the very first week, I was getting calls already. I remember maybe in the first or second month thereabouts, there was one recruiter that literally called me and he was like, "Oh, you're perfect for this job. I don't even think I need to interview you or this, you just need to come and start." And immediately I brought up the dreaded phrase, which is I'm an international student. That job died instantly. So from there, I think maybe it kind of gave me a mindset that it might be a bit difficult to get a job. Overall, I think I started keeping tracks of the jobs I applied for. I used to have these Excel sheets where I pretty much just put, I applied for this role, the status, interview, and whatnot. And by the time I had finished school and I started my first job, I came into the UK January 2022. My course was the 18-month course. So I kind of had like a summer break, which during the summer break, I intended to get some kind of internship over that summer. But I almost I had like 2 interviews during that summer, one with AWS, one with another company called Synopsys. The AWS one, I'll probably say that almost broke me. You know, it was a job that had 5 stages. Stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can imagine how hectic, how draining, how numbing that job process could have been. It was a security engineering role. And at the end of the day, I just didn't get the job, which was disappointing. I knew how much they were going to pay me. My head was counting the thousands of pounds in my head already. I was seeing the zeros in my accounts, but at the end of the day, I didn't get the job. So literally for maybe that was kind of like my first 4 or 5 months where I think that happened. And probably for around 4 or 5 months or thereabouts, I pretty much didn't apply for any job again. You know, I had to kind of like just take a break. I had to figure out what was going on, what was the problem, how could I get better at it. So, and by the time it was around December, I was going to graduate May 2023. By the time it was around December 22, I started my job application. You know, I had, and one thing I also did was I had a chat with a number of people. If one thing about me, the worst thing you're going to tell me is no. I have that mindset. So I reached out to a number of people on LinkedIn. There's an alumni of ours that graduated a year before me, David. I reached out to a number of other folks I know, and I had a chat. You know, we started doing some kind of mock interviews and everything like that. Things around maybe brushing up my CV. Probably didn't do much with that, but when it came to the interview parts, there was quite a lot to do. You know, I'm somebody who, if you ask me a question, what's your name? I'll pretty much just tell you my name is Oluwafemi. And if there's something I've learned maybe from schooling in Nigeria, there is a mindset that if we ask you what is this, that's not the response you're expecting from you. You're supposed to give us examples. You're supposed to draw a diagram. And those are the kind of things I learned when I reached out to other people who had been through that process and everything. And by the time it was around March where I finally said, okay, I think I can stop now. I had done, according to my self sheets, I'd applied for about 300 jobs. I got to about 28 interview stages, and I got 3 job offers at the end of the day. I eventually went with one of them, and I left that job about a month ago for another one. So that has been my journey so far. I hope that's answered the question.
Yes, it does answer the question. Thank you very much for sharing your experience with us. So the next question goes to every one of us, and it's a question that someone has asked in the comment section, which is, what were you doing before you came into the UK? So I'm gonna start with Jennifer. Jennifer, can you tell us what you were doing in the UK? Sorry, what you were doing before you moved into the UK?
If I moved into the UK, I mean, I was still like a product manager, but for a product studio and a SaaS company. But I was a product manager for about probably 2 years, or roughly 2 years. And probably before that, like I said earlier, I was into growth and brands communication. So it wasn't really anything different from what I'm currently doing at the moment. Probably just industry that's a bit different, but yeah.
All right. So Victor, you want to go next?
Yeah. Thank you, Rukayat. So before I moved to the UK, yes, I was running an innovation hub, like I said before that. So I started my own company, and my focus was more on developing the tech ecosystem. And so my company is in Ogun State. So I was running Greyzack in Ogun State, focused on developing more talent, upskilling people, connecting them to entry-level jobs in tech industry, and supporting startup. So I was more focused on the entrepreneurship side of tech before I moved to the UK. Yeah, so let's just make it something like I was sincerely like focused on how do we like develop the ecosystem in Ogun State. That was like my own focus when I was in Nigeria before I moved to the UK. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Victor. Faiza, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Before I moved to the UK, I worked as a lecturer.
Nice.
But at the start of this role, I had an internship. I was also interning as a data engineer / machine learning engineer. So I had 2 roles at the time before I stuck to lecturing and then moved to the UK.
Interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Abdulrazak, you want to go next?
Oh, yeah. So before I moved to the UK, I was a data research analyst and an integration officer, data integration officer for. I wouldn't say I really directly worked with them, but that was what I did for Lagos State Ministry of Health. I supervised collection of data for at least 7 general hospitals before I came here. I also on the side work as a data research analyst. I help people conceive their projects. I design questionnaires used for data collection. Then I also help with the analytics and writing of the reports. So it was more of doing this one on contract, doing that one on contract. So generally, that was what I did before I came into the UK.
Okay, thank you very much. Jacob, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. So before I moved to the UK, I worked as a cybersecurity engineer. I worked for a company called Cyber South Africa, which was literally the #1 security operations center in Africa, basically. So yeah, I had relatively solid background in cybersecurity before into the UK.
Okay, I see a lot of us have something in common. I kind of feel like I have something in common with a couple of people, but I'm not going to say anything yet. All right, so this goes to, the next question goes to Jennifer. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Sorry, for some odd reasons, my system
Hello?
is giving me some signs and wonders. Just give me 2 seconds, please. Okay. So the question is, can you share your experience applying for UK Global Talent Visa? Because I feel like, I don't know, I might be wrong. I think the process is different for each, how do I not want to say, career path. I think, I'm not sure, but I think, because Dr. Celestine is here, I might want to ask him because he's in
Yeah.
ed, so I think, though, I might be wrong.
I think, well, okay. So I think while the process might be different, there are similarities. For example, storytelling, right? You obviously have to know how to tell a story. You're literally selling yourself, right? So which I think is like similarity, like across all fields. You're selling your years of experience and posturing it, you know. One thing I think that is actually common between all fields is obviously the structuring of evidences. Because they obviously have certain evidences that they want to see, which regard whether you're an engineer or you're a product manager, you're a product designer, if you do choose that category or that specific category, like you have to show evidences relating to that particular category. So for my experience in applying for the Global Talent Visa, I actually applied twice. The first time was in in 2023, 2021, November. I didn't get it. And I would say I didn't get it because like I'll probably like to take my own fault to this. I obviously some people, I mean, they usually hand it off to agencies and what would like do their application, right? And it works out fine. But I think I was also negligent or ignorant because I didn't have like proper knowledge about it and I wasn't so really involved in the process. So I was just like, okay, whatever that you've done, just submit it here. And when I did compare like my application, which I did last year, to the one that was done 2 years ago, I could see like the clear difference that nobody could tell my story as much as I could, as better as I can. So even if like you're gonna hand it off to like an agency, I think that you should also be heavily involved, you know, because again, it's your story and to be told to them. And when I was obviously making the application again, I'd used I think they call it Performer, where I'm not sure if that's the word, where they tell you, okay, this is what you did wrong, and this is the reason why we told you know in this particular section. And I was working closely with like those reasons to reapply or make my applications again. And in this time around, I made sure I had like a lot of eyes on my application. I reached out to a lot of people that applied for the application. Please review my evidences. Everybody just drop your feedback in the comments. And I was just going to like take note of that. Something else I did do that I think that also made a very clear difference is I reached out to a lot of PMs as well, because the way you present your evidence is like different from the way an engineer will present their evidences. So yeah, and in making that application, so I feel like my own story was very different because I've heard a couple of people say that when they applied, they got their responses like in 2 weeks or something. Mine took 11 weeks. Mine took 11 weeks to get back from them. So I applied in April. I probably heard back from them like in July or something, or June. I can't remember, but it was a long time. And I think I'll still fall back to storytelling. That's all I can say. I think I'll still fall back to storytelling. Be heavy on data. Choose show figures, numbers, pictures to back it up. Do not put they have an issue with when you're attaching a link and it goes back to a folder, right? They want it to be redirected to like a public site or a public website, right? And not almost all your links are being redirected to a folder. For a PM, I did draft my portfolio, which was like actually the first time, right? I probably heard of that. I drafted my portfolio and I attached it to one of the evidences that says potential to be a leading talent in the UK. So drafted my portfolio and yeah, really trying to get feedback from a lot of people who had made education before. Like they say, knowledge is actually very key. Everybody has different perspective, and it's just really great to like hear perspective from other persons and turn it into your perspective. So that's what I did. I think that's like really brief summary of my application.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to come back to Victor because I know that you will definitely have like a lot to say, but I'm going to come back to you. So the next question would be going to an alumni. And this time I'm going to be choosing Jacob to answer this particular question. And the question goes thus: what were the biggest cultural adjustments you had to make in the UK workspace?
Oh, well,
Oluwafemi,
yes, sir.
just a minute. There's something
Okay.
that is important we need to pick in that global talent.
Oh, all right.
Are you done with the question on global talent?
No, I'm not. I still have a couple of questions for them. I'm not done with the question.
Okay, so that you can run it down.
Yes.
Because it's very important. There are a whole lot of you should be applying for that.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
I'm also one of the people interested in the global talent, so I don't mind hearing more about it. All right, so work cultures. I think for me, in Nigeria, I kind of also worked with a number of what's it called? People that were not Nigerians. Worked with a lot with folks that were other African nationalities. My company then was not Nigerian owned. It was owned by Israelis. So and also a number of products we had or we were working with, say maybe the Microsoft Sentinel, say a QRadar, Palo Alto, or maybe Fortinet Firewall and things like that. Those were products that we had to deal with a number of foreigners and everything with. But I think one very common thing that I probably am still getting has to be maybe kind of like the British humor, which is always sometimes, when there's always that conversation and everybody's laughing and I'm just, what are they talking about? What's so funny? So I think that's one thing that has been like, oh, maybe a culture shock. And maybe it's a bit even much more obvious now that my current company is a global organization. On an average day, I can talk to someone in Australia, in Poland, in the US, in Canada, in Mexico, in Japan, quite a number of nationalities and everything. So, and if they've kind of also had that melting pot or thereabouts where it's really is an organization that is global and there's really not much of a cultural difference if you're if you're someone that has worked on that kind of level before. But when you work in maybe a solely British organization, that might be a bit more complicated. And for me, it's always just that humor. I'm just like, what's so funny? And another thing is, previously I worked kind of like 80% remote. I only went to the work once a week. Now I'm 100% remote. I have no clue. I know my current company has like 1 or 2 offices in the UK. I don't know where it is. I don't think I plan to know where it is. So that's something to also take into consideration for me.
I can relate with you. I mean, when I was in Nigeria, I was working for a UK company that has a branch in Lagos. And I only went to work, I think, first 2 weeks when I started working. And for like 9 months, I never stepped foot in the office space. And then the next time I went there, it turned out that the office space was changed. We relocated to a different space, and it was very awkward, meeting with people that you usually see virtually. It is very, very awkward. So yeah, I kind of like understand your perspective about that. So the next question goes to Faiza. What were the challenges what are the challenges that you face now in your current workspace? And what were the challenges that you faced before you were fully employed? And how did you go about the challenges? Because you said that you were a lecturer before you transitioned into tech. You kind of like share some of those what's it called, history, because myself, oh God, interesting. I've been a whole lot. I've been a tech person. I've been an educator. I mean, I've worked at the education sector from like level 0 to like the last level you can possibly think of. So I'm trying to understand how you were able to, what were the challenges that you faced, if you actually did face the same challenge. How were you able to what were the solutions? How did you go about it? Did you reach out to people, or did you just pray or something? Of course not pray.
Okay, I'll start by saying that my first degree was in computer engineering.
Okay.
And I did have a prior master's in computer science before coming to the UK. So when I was lecturing, I was teaching data structures and also engineering math. So it's, still within the field of what I'm working with now. So I didn't find it too difficult to adjust, really. I just knew that I had to learn a lot because the language that I use now at work is Java. I had never learned Java. I had never worked with Java, but I was open to learning it. I knew I needed to dedicate myself and put in a lot of effort. And I'm still learning Java till now while still working with it. So that was a challenge I faced, learning a new language. That's still what I'm facing. And I would say the way to combat it would be just keep learning. Sometimes you'd feel like an imposter. You'd be scared, thinking, oh, maybe I'm not doing very good enough. But I assure you, as long as you keep trying, your superiors notice that and you'll be just fine. Besides that, something else I struggled with was networking. It's not something that is popular in Nigeria, at least from my end. And I'm quite introverted. So when I got here and I started working, there was a lot of emphasis put on networking and getting to know people. And I kind of struggled with that because I didn't think it was necessary. But now I've adjusted and I have understood that working in the UK requires networking. So I'm getting out of my shell and going to more networking events as I should. I hope that helps.
Yeah, it does. Additionally, I would also like to ask your current role, were there skill sets that you didn't know before and it was required, like Java? You just mentioned Java, and how did you go about it? Did you tell the organization outrightly that you don't know Java?
So luckily, I got into the role. requires a learning period. So you come in with some technical skills. They want you to know that, oh, you actually have experience coding or learning, I guess, and they tell you, okay, this is what we need for the role, and we're happy to train you. And you have to do well during that training period. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. That's the perfect question. Sorry, that's the perfect response to the question. All right, thank you. So the same question I want to ask Abdulrazak. Abdulrazak, are you still here with us?
Yeah. Same. Okay, I can add to what Faiza said. I think for majority of the roles, okay, let's look at it from different perspective. There is the entry role. There is I don't know what's after entry, but I think the junior role, the junior position, depending on the kind of roles that these recruiters are trying to fill, then it depends on the kind of organization that you are going to work at. For example, the NHS now, the hospital is a very big place to work. Where Pfizer works too, it's a very big organization. It's not like it's a startup. So I think the basic requirements to function at a particular role depends on the size of the organization. For most entry roles in large organizations, they tend to give you this learning period. You can come in, learn from the seniors, give you small tasks and small projects to work on. Then you get to learn from those that have obviously been in the system. But I think if you are looking to start to get a job in a startup that they want someone who has a lot of experience, they don't have the, what I call it, they don't really have the time to train someone to be perfect for the role. They want you to hit the ground running. So I think that matters in terms of what they require you to know before you get the job. And I noticed some people in the chat are talking about, okay, because majority of us are in tech, so it cuts across all organizations, all roles, depending on when you want to come in, how you want to come in. Then another attention should be paid to the recruiters themselves, the job roles themselves, the job description, what they tell you during the no, let's not go to interview. What they describe in the job ad itself. There always seems to be a lot there. Oh, you will do this, you're required to do this. I think for most of those job descriptions, it's going far ahead. It doesn't mean you start today and you're working on this particular thing almost immediately. But again, I would like to correct myself that it depends on the organization. I realize for most startups, they want you to come and they want you to know a lot of things in the beginning, so you can hit the ground running as soon as possible. For larger organizations, you tend to get this leverage of, oh, we know you might not be too experienced or too vast in this thing, so we'll teach you. And it depends. If it's an entry role, they don't expect you to know so much. But I think the most important thing is for you to have a positive attitude. They want you, and they often test this during the job application as well as the interview. Like, are you someone that is willing to learn and grow? I think that's one of the most important things. They would like to invest in someone that has potential, and this you have to display even from your CV based on what you have done in the past. Oh, you have a can-do attitude. We can train this person, and this person will get into this role. Like all these, oh, have you done this? You want someone that has experience in this aspect. It's more about, oh, this person has built themselves to a place where we can continue building, or even if it's to break down what they know and then start building on it. And I think that's one of the most important things for them in this environment that we are in. I wouldn't say that I actively applied to a lot of jobs, or I went to a lot of interviews to know. I think we'll get to learn that more from people that, let me say negatively, people that didn't get so much of the jobs. Because this one was my first interview, and it was the first job that I got in the UK, the first interview that I did. But if it's to describe what I've been doing since I started the job, is I didn't know a lot of SQL before. I would say maybe I knew 5% of SQL. And this was even, I'm talking about in terms of challenges at the role, as well as maybe during the interview then before. I didn't know a lot of SQL before. I was very good in I'm still very good in Python. I was more tending toward towards data science, and this is a more SQL development role. I didn't know a lot of SQL before. During the interview, I was asked SQL questions, but even practically, I couldn't answer about that. I think there were like 5 questions. I was able to answer 2 confidently. I was helped with the third one. I had ideas of the remaining 2, but he knew I had, okay, I probably know these things, but maybe probably because I haven't used it in a long time, I may not remember it again. But coming to the theoretical aspect, he asked me questions on things that are theoretical in data analytics as well as with SQL itself. Things like, okay, what are primary keys? What are constraints used for? I was able to answer all those questions confidently, which showed, okay, I knew what I was talking about. I think that really mattered for me getting the job, because they knew, okay, we can teach this person this thing and he's going to get it. Even at the role. And going back to your previous question in terms of maybe cultural differences, I don't work in a lot of places in Nigeria. I only worked in Lagos Ministry of Data, but I realized, I think there are more, and I think this is also in terms of the organization that you are. If they are big, I think they have the time to teach people. Here, you realize you're not under too much pressure, as well as if you're starting out. They keep constantly reminding you, oh, we are here to help. Whatever problem you have, talk to this person. You have a line manager. And also, if you work in a very good organization in Nigeria, you also have this experience too. You have a line manager that you can always go to if you have difficulties with any task. The ones that are above your seniors will tell you, oh, okay, if you have any issue, come to us, bring these things to us. I think, does this answer the question you asked me?
Yes, it does. Even gave me more.
Let me stop there. I realize I'm talking
I can actually relate. I can actually relate. Even some of the organization go to the extent of giving you a body. So when you join them, because I can remember my previous role, they gave me a body. So my body would tell me, okay, would always reach out to me. What are the things they're having challenges with? Should always help me through them. So that alone gave me that confidence that I could do more, even though I had to learn some other tools when I joined the organization. But the fact that they have a template of how to onboard people that are just joining newly, because they know that we all can have like 100% of what they require, but they were willing to train. So I think it's not just for big organization. I don't know about Nigerian companies. I've only worked for, I think, one Nigerian company. I can't really say so much about Nigerian companies, but I know like international companies I've worked for, they have that in place. So I think it's not just about the organization being big. I think it's like a thing for all the organizations to always onboard you properly before they start assigning tasks to you. So I think it's like a general thing. I might be wrong, but the few I've actually experienced, I can say that I can be confident to say that about them. So yeah, so the next question, this goes to Victor. I hope Victor is still with us.
Yeah.
Okay, just doing a quick check. All right, so the question goes thus. So what were the key factors that helped you qualify for the Global Talent? And I'm asking you this particular question because I know you were into ecosystem development, and now you're applying for a visa that's, I think, completely different from what you're doing. I think, I'm not sure. Am I wrong?
So it depends on the context you are coming from, yeah.
Okay, so I'll just allow you to answer the question then.
Okay, so like I would put it like this. So for Global Talent, from my own perspective, they are looking for people doing something, probably making impact in the tech sector already, probably in your home country. Now, so there are like they have like, you can apply either as an engineer, you can apply either as a tech entrepreneur, you can apply either as a business developer, product manager, product designer, even they consider people in academics. You understand? So there are different angles to come in from. The only thing that I think is more like generic is can you defend the sector you're coming from? Can you show your work? Can you tell us what you've done in that particular sector? So for me, when I was applying, I came from the angle of being a tech entrepreneur that I, run an innovation hub. These are like impact I have made. And, when I was in Nigeria, I organized like annual digital summit where I gather like thousands of people every year. So all of these are, part of the things I've done, like more like impact I have made in the tech ecosystem. So I came in through the global talent route, coming in as an entrepreneur, not as an engineer. So, but there are different routes that you can either apply as an engineer, you can apply as someone that, you are focused on the ecosystem, as long as if you claim to be focused on building a tech ecosystem, do you have like the results? Do you have evidence? Do you have what to show as what you are doing already? So overall, to be honest, Global Talent does not is not limited to people just in tech. I have people that are in art, people that are in entertainment sector coming in through Global Talent. I have people that are in fashion sector, people that they just like, they are in fashion and they still coming through Global Talent route. So it just depends on what do you do? Have you made like substantial impact in that sector, and can you defend that impact? So me, I mean, when I was applying, then I applied in as an entrepreneur, and that was more like it. Showed majority of my work, product I have built, product I have been part of. All of these were what I kind of like submitted as evidence when I was applying as under Global Talent visa route. Yeah, so basically that was more like it for me. I didn't apply as an engineer when I was coming in. It was when I got to the UK, I felt like, I can't just come into the UK and start like building a startup here. I don't understand the market. I don't have an idea of how some things work. Then because I have a solid engineering background, I decided to look and taking a technical role. Yeah, that was more like it for me.
So from that, and I can take away that because you had like a portfolio, you were able to use that to defend your application. You had evidence of events that you've organized. And of course, I've attended a couple of those events back in Nigeria. So yes, I can say that actually like speaks a lot of volume about what you bring to the table. So yes, so what are the opportunities that Global Talents present? I mean, for you now, you said you applied as an entrepreneur, but
Yeah.
now you are currently holding an engineering role, right?
Yeah.
What are the opportunities that the visa gives you as an individual?
So there are lots of opportunities. So the first one that is major is like on a Global Talent visa, you can work anywhere and your visa is not attached to any company. So once you are in the UK, you can work in any tech company, use a tier 1 visa, and if you're leaving the company,
It's still politics. They give.
Okay, sorry about that. So if you are leaving the company, you can leave, go to another company, and that's one major thing. And the second thing is like when is like you can use it towards your ILR and becoming like having your indefinite leave to remain and becoming a citizen. There are like it's like a very short way to getting all of that because it takes like 3 years for exceptional talent and 5 years for promised talent. So I would say that it gives you opportunity to be flexible on job. There is this thing that when let's say work visa can be like, being scared that, okay, what if something happens? What if there is layoff? There is this global economic challenge that could happen anytime, which is really, companies could lay off. Things like that has happened. We've seen it happen in different places. So people, I just feel like it gives you much more peace of mind compared like to let me say work visa. Not like anyone is bad, but I just think like those are like some of the benefit that comes with it. And another thing is like you can start a business. You can decide that you are coming in to build your own company. As a matter of fact, they bring people in as Global Talent because they perceive that these guys will probably end up, contributing a lot to our ecosystem by building something that probably will then hire people at the end of the day, because they have result of people that are, I think, like Monzo now. Monzo was built by people that came through Global Talent. So they have like products like that they have seen, like, okay, we brought people in through Global Talent route, they built this, they hired this number of people. So it is contributing a lot to their tech ecosystem. So they expect that at the end of the day, whether you work in engineering or before you get your feet, you can, end up building something that can then hire people. So it has a lot of advantage, to be very sincere. Gives you that flexibility to work anywhere, gives you the flexibility to, give you the easy journey to get ILR, bring in people you want to bring in your family if you're married and all of those things. So I think it's highly beneficial. Yeah.
All right, thank you. My next question, still to you. Please do not run away. So how has holding a global talent visa impacted your career opportunity in the UK? I know that you've talked about switching to like different company. I mean, you can just wake up one day and say, no, I don't want to work with you again, and then you just apply elsewhere. So is that the only benefit that comes with it, or is there more?
So I would say that how it has impacted is like, it has kind of like given me the opportunity, of course, it gives me the right to work in the UK. So it gives me access to more global companies. You understand? Like, if I don't have like global talent visa, I might find it difficult to work with some companies. But, being here, someone was talking the other time, I think Jacob, about setting his LinkedIn and all of those things. And, roles started coming in. And one of the things you would face, probably as an international student or people trying to get new job, is you see something like, okay, we are hiring for this role, but we don't offer sponsorship. We're hiring for this role, but we don't offer sponsorship. So with global talent visa, whether you offer sponsorship or you don't offer sponsorship, that is like your personal problem. We can't continue. You understand? So I think that edge a lot, because by the time you tell people that you don't offer sponsorship, you don't even proceed to check whether they are skilled for that particular role or not. That's the limitation on people. You can be skilled, you can have what it takes to perform in a role, but just because the company doesn't offer sponsorship, that could be a limitation. You understand? So I feel like without it, it takes a lot more. You understand? But being on Global Talent, you just tell the company, see, I have like a pre-settled status. I'm on a Global Talent route, and I don't need sponsorship. So they will tell you, let's go into the interview, let's do this. So it's a much more like smoother process, yeah. Compared to like other route. That's what I would say. And for me personally, it gives me access to explore my skills and work with global companies. That's one of the best things that everyone wants to do. You just want to have the experience and see that this is what it feels like to work with these companies and see how they do their own thing internally. Yeah. So I think, to be very sincere, major thing that I would just say is a pickup for me is like that tagline of no sponsorship is not a problem anymore, and you are not practically attached to any organization. Your stay is not attached to an organization, and still it counts towards you getting ILR. So I feel like they give that regard to that route, which is why I think it's a good thing to like really, really have, especially if you already work in tech already. It is applicable anybody, data analyst, engineer, any role, cybersecurity. The only thing is like, just tell us the impact you're making in that sector. Things like, okay, speaking engagements, you must have been, you must have engaged in like, being invited to speak at different events. They want to see people that are like doing something, and then, find a way to just tell us what you are doing. And then, I think that's basically it. There is a lot more information about Global Talent, of course, but because I believe that the scope of this like meeting is not to like go into details of all of that, is why I'm not going very deep. So I'm just like giving like the, the surface explanation of this thing.
Don't
So
give us surface explanation, Victor. Give us
I should go into details.
Yes.
Okay. So because no, my perspective is like going into details will be like get like people interested to get what they want, and some people probably not interested might just be like, okay, we are talking about, but then let me just go much more deeper. So they want you to show, like, for example, let me just come from this perspective now. Applying for Global Talent routes, you need to show products that you have worked on, either as any role that you worked on that product. Now, this could be as analyst, it could be as a cybersecurity person, it could be as a business developer, it could be as a founder, and you could also be a key engineer or maybe product designer, any role at all. but show us the product and show us your work. Then this one of the major thing again is like show us like social contribution. What have you done for the society? You know, an example could be like supporting programs. You know, when people are trying to organize programs for university, what IEE is doing right now, this is a social contribution. You understand? You are making impact directly, whether you like it or not, by passing this information to people. They want you to show them things like that, and let us be sure that you have done this. Then they also want to show evidence that with what you are currently doing, you have very good income. This does not come by them asking you for bank statement. I would say some of the ways that people show this is by showing them that, okay, I currently work with this company, which shows that I am highly skilled. Because if I'm not highly skilled, this company will not hire me, you know, that kind of thing. So it could be like, just show us your offer that you earn this particular amount in this company, and it shows that you are very competent. Then apart from that, show that you have mentored people. That, okay, as a senior person, so I would say, you know, there are two routes for global talent. There is exceptional promise, there's exceptional talent. The exceptional promise is for people that are, let me say, potential talent. While the exceptional talent are people that they have already like, they are no more promising, they are already like in that sector, and they have already like make very huge impact in their sector. For me, when I was coming, I applied through the route of promise. So I showed speaking engagement I have done, I showed them product I have built, I showed them 3 products I have worked on, the growth of those, the success metrics of those products. When we raised money, how much we raised, how we're able to get like investors, things like that. Then I show them the impact I've had on people's life, how people have transitioned into tech through the company I founded. Then I show them how I have like contributed to the tech community as a whole. That was more like it for me. Then I showed them, of course, because I was not an employee, I had to show them like equity that I own in those companies. So, but coming from employee perspective, they show them that this is what I earn currently, making this impact in this company. So to be honest, that's an overview of what it all entails. Of course, there is part of like submitting personal statement and your CV, and of course, having your LinkedIn well optimized, because that is the first place they look at. You know, that is like the public thing they look at first, your LinkedIn, like well optimized. So I think that's an overview of what like global talent route looks like. There are a lot of like optional criteria. I'm sure like there was someone, I think a lecturer that applied, he would have used like academics line, but me, I didn't use academics because I don't have any thesis to defend here. So I just like use more like product, that this is the product I have built, this is the revenue this product is generating, and this is like people using the product, show them like this is the number of users we have, this is that we got money and we funded this startup, we joined an accelerator, all of this. There is no one way thing to this thing. I want to put that out there because some might come from the perspective of, I'm not the founder. You understand? I've worked with engineers and they have done it. I've worked with like just software engineers and they have done it. So it's just a thing of, by any means, show us the impact you are doing. That's basically what it is. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I can relate with the visa status stuff. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I was speaking with a recruiter, and because I was actually actively applying, and then he said that the company does not offer sponsorship, and I'm like, okay, I do not also require sponsorship. I was trying to convince him that I don't want, at least at this point, I was not looking for sponsorship. He just kept saying the company does not, and I'm like, okay, I still have 2 years post-study. That when I get to that bridge, I was going to apply for 2 years post-study visa and stuff. And it was like, what happens after the 2 years? And I told him I will cross that bridge when I get to that point, but I still have 2 years. So I don't think that's what I want to focus on. And then he said, I understand what you're saying, but the company is not looking at this and this on the long run. I'm like, brother, I just please stop talking about this sponsorship. Let's just move to the next phase. So yeah, I understand that your visa does not, you don't have to stress over that. I mean, it's really stressing me out.
I mean, so, it can be. I get that, but yeah.
Yeah, so thank you very much for that.
Ruqayyat, can I give a little breakdown on that global talent?
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Victor, for giving some areas. I want to say I think there are some people who are asking, oh, is it only for tech, computer, and all that? Now, global talent, which I also have, is in three forms. Number one is it comes with academic and research. If you're in academic or research, that is, if you are either in any of the sciences, in medicine, in engineering, in humanities, social science, as a top lecturer, top professor, you are entitled to apply through academic route. I applied to the Royal College of Engineering. So they call it endorsement. So you submit your application, through the normal immigration route, they will send it there. I always tell everyone as a student to apply. It doesn't change your visa. Even if they say no, it doesn't remove anything, from what the visa you have. So that is one, through academic research. The second one is, now look at that word. You don't need, because I have two people who did not work in Nigeria. They never got any job experience, who got global talent. Now, you don't need to be a leader in your field to apply. There's two words they use, potential leader. I will come to that in a brief. Potential leader. Now, you are a full leader. That means you have made mark in your area. And then in that digital technology, that is the way people go through Tech Nation, which is more like the computer area, IT area, financial tech, gaming, cybersecurity, and AI. This area is hot in Tech Nation. If you're in this area, you can go through Tech Nation, and then they will endorse you for that, which some of our students currently have. Now, the other area, like I said, there are three. The other area is arts and culture. If you are in arts, dancing, literature, music, architecture, fashion design, film, TV, visual effects, those ones can go through that in arts and culture as an endorsement. Now, it's either you're a leader, you're an entrepreneur, you are a potential leader. These are the three areas. Now, Victor was able to go as a potential leader in that entrepreneur area. Now, what does it entail? Identify problems in your portfolio. These are the four areas. Identify problems. Number two, identify solutions. Give example, give evidence. Identify contribution. Either contribution you have made in the past or you have made in the present. Now, how do you identify contribution? Another area, you don't need endorsement if you have a national award. Or if you go and marry Obama's wife. If they divorce and you marry Obama's wife, your own can change. Now, we're talking of national award. When you have national award, you can apply for global talent. Or you have $1 billion somewhere. You don't need anybody to endorse you. They will just bring you in and give you global talent. So these are the areas. But the important thing is, how do you do it? Like Victor said, there's somebody now we're preparing, a route in global talent for Tech Nation. So I said, your portfolio, do you have speaking engagement? Do you have publications? Are you in organization, associations? Do you have a big post? Are you nationally known, in what you are doing? And whatever you are doing, is it in the news? Is it in the newspapers? These are your evidences. Because you can't say, oh, I have this. Now, Victor mentioned, because he has all the websites, some of you, you would say, oh, I've gotten job, and then you relax. No. In fact, like I keep saying, it takes one idea to get to the top, but it remains many ideas to remain at the top. The UK market is stumbling. You can see, I think more than 50 lecturers have left voting, and it's happening in all the schools. So VC, when I was talking with the VC, says, they are flushing people who are not productive out. MMU, one top professor in MMU who was used to be very good. So I called my other professor, I said, what is wrong? He said, the man has been stagnant, no publication, no funding. So when people see people like me, because very soon I will leave you guys to continue working, because you have to be creative. That's one. You have to continually be creative. if you want your job, you want to sustain your job. Now, Global Talent Route makes you relax, because whether they tell you go, you just move, find another level, and find another job. You know, the day one of my students put his Global Talent, that night he got job. He got many companies calling him. Now, why do they not give you people when they say they don't offer sponsorship? Every company pays 1,476 pounds as to be job for each candidate they bring. And then they give a certificate per skilled workers of 239. So no company wants to waste any £1 on any person. So they'll say, oh no, it's going to cost them money. What is the benefit? They don't even know if the person is going to stay long or not. So because of the money they pay, you know, when I came in, I was not supposed, if voting, what do you call it? If UK was still in EU, there was no need for sponsorship, because I already live in UK before. I did my PhD in UK. There was no need. I have everything. I have I have my bank, I have everything working. I even set up a company when it was in EU. And then when I moved my address, they said, oh no, Celestine, oh, you need a visa. And then voting was very fast to apply for skilled visa. I'm like, I don't need it. But say, no, you need it because you have moved your address. So I got that skill. But when I came in, I saw the rules holding the skilled worker. I did not waste time to apply for the Global Talent, because I felt I am qualified for the Global Talent. So I went through that route, and then I got it quick. I now came back to the company, I took voting, and I gave them, submitted it. I said, no, I'm no longer on your skilled worker. So whatever they are paid, that is their own. Me, I am now a free agent. The day I'm tired, I carry my bag and my boss and I'm out overnight. Nobody will know. Nothing will happen. That is the power of Global Talent. You know, and apart that, it leads you to your citizenship and other. But take note of that word. Important thing is preparation. Don't keep applying for job. I made one mistake 2012. You know, they called me for one job and said, Celestine, you are fit for the job. Agency are the ones sneaking around looking for you. Now, when they took me in that job, for interview. They already told the managers, Celestine is the best. And he asked me one question: have you applied in this company before? I said, you know, those days I would just send the application without even reading whatever it is. And then of course, you get email to say, thank you, we have gone with other candidates. You know, that was just doing it. He said, next time, advise your younger ones, never apply for a job you are not interested in. Never applied for a job, that word. So don't just apply for a job, because they keep records of this job. And once they roll it in the system, your name will come out that you are not qualified, even when you are qualified for that job. I lost that job because I applied in that company without even looking. I couldn't even remember. But their system brought it back. Number two, don't apply for a job that is too specific. It is not meant for you. It was meant because the rule, they need somebody. They have published that application based on that person's CV. We live in a country where people can take you to court. If I go for interview and I don't like the way you talk to me, I can take you to court and make money from the company and say, you know, because they are racist against me, that is why they did not give me the job. That is, it's not in Nigeria. Nobody cares. They kick you out. You are kicked out, and that is it. Here, you can actually, you have not gotten the job, but you will create problem for the company. Some of you don't know this. That, you know, some people, they look at you and just talk anyhow to you and you go. And you can even make good money from creating that company. I mean, going to them. So it's very important how you see, that's why when you come, they smile. We have done it in voting. You know, when we invited Clary and others, I was laughing my head out, because when all of them left, they were all smiling. Me, I was trying to be a little hard and ask hard questions. They were opening their teeth. Immediately, everybody left. They say, you know, that one is not good. The faces change. And I'm like, wow, I've learned something today. They'll be as polite as if when you go home, you are like, I'm getting that job. The next thing you get letter, sorry, we have gone with another candidate. You know, so most of you have gone for interview. You will see how they are smart. They will give you a drink. Do you want to eat? There are all kinds of things. You're already smart. Your body is already choking you that you are getting the job. Don't finalize until you get a letter. I'm just telling you why? Because they don't want anybody to write against them, to say that they were biased in the interview, because it is a legal thing in Europe, you know. So don't apply. I love the jobs when they say they're looking for 5 people. Like Bolton, they were looking for 5. I was not even interested because I already got a job in Ireland. So when they sent it, and I'm like, which one is this one? It's on computer. I said, well, I've done electronics, electrical, and, you know, IoT all my life. Why will I be teaching software and all this, you know? And then someone was like, apply. I did not apply for the job because I got so tired, you know, from China. And I'm like, I'm not even, I told my niece, just apply. She's the one who applied for jobs for me. So when I went for the interview, I was telling them stories. I was not interested in the job because I already have a job in Ireland. So I was telling Sam and Adam and all, I was just giving them stories and laughing. I was so relaxed. But that became a power that got me the job. Then the next thing they called me, are you interested in the job? We have now shortlisted you. I said, thank you. I did not say anything. I did not say I was accepting. Do you know emails I was receiving everywhere and telephone calls? When eventually I came in, the Sam and all of them were like, you know, we were wondering, why did you not accept the job? That everybody was panicking. You are the best. You are the best. I said that is my usual way. I already have a job. So I was not under pressure. You see, like the person that said, is it Jacob or Abdullah, that said he already got a job and 2 other jobs, you know, he did not even bother to apply. Because sometimes you can have a job, you use it to alleviate another job for promotion. So don't say, even with your job now, don't say, oh, I've gotten this job, then I don't need to apply for another one. No, that is your power. Your power is that job that you have. Once you have, and you just mention to your line manager, some people are eyeing me. It's like I am ready to shake body and move. Can we increase your salary? That is where you get promotion. Okay, let me stop there. Thank you.
I was actually enjoying that bit, but okay. We can proceed now. All right, so I hope we have not relaxed and forgotten that we are here or something. I'm just doing a quick check. Is Jennifer still here? Faiza, Abdurazak, Jacob, Junwo, you have not said anything. I hope you have not fallen asleep.
I'm with you.
Okay. So my next question goes to, let's see, Jacob. So Jacob, are you with us?
Oh, yes, I am.
All right, thank you. So what unique challenge challenges did you face in your specific industry as an international graduate?
So I think I might go more than one. One of the things I kind of faced in my own industries, I work in cybersecurity. So that means I am privy to a number of data, a number of information that are considered very confidential. And a number of times there are scenarios where in a number of companies where a security clearance is required for me to work in that organization or thereabouts. So most of the time, the security clearance would require me to have had, say, some 5 years or thereabouts residency in the UK. So a number of times that knocks you out of the race. Don't even bother applying for it. And another problem is in terms of the technology use. So in Nigeria, we have basically cybersecurity, we have a lot of tools, a lot of things we use, you know, specific products, things like, say, maybe the typical Cisco firewalls, you're using things like Palo Alto, you're using things like Fortinet. A number of those products are not being used in Nigeria. Say maybe you have a SIEM, a Splunk, things like that. A number of them are not being used in Nigeria. we tend to go maybe for kind of like the cheaper ones, ArcSight, Huawei product and things like that. And which might be a bit similar to the Java situation Faisal mentioned a while back. At the end of the day, one thing is you are familiar with some kind of product, you're familiar with another version of it. A language, a programming language, I mean, they're not always the same, but we have those that maybe like low-level language and C and things like that. So the basic thing is, if you have the foundational knowledge of the language of the product of things you're trying to work towards, that's all you do require. So, okay. A number of times you have the foundational knowledge already. And the main thing is for you to, pick up those knowledge gaps that you have with those current ones that you're going to be working with in the UK. So I think that's one major thing I faced. We had like a whole separate stack of security architecture and students and everything we did like that in Nigeria. But in the UK has, most organizations in the UK have way much more budget for cybersecurity. An average bank or fintech in Nigeria might be allocating, say, maybe $50,000 to $100,000 a year, while in the UK, that's maybe like a monthly allocation for them. So that's those two, I would say, are pretty significant in terms of my own industry that, I kind of experienced when I started working here.
Wow. All right. So I'm going to ask Abdurazak the same question. Abdurazak, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you please repeat the question?
I had a feeling that you were going to say that. All right. So what unique challenges did you face in your specific industry as an international student or graduate?
I don't know how to answer the question. Do you mean to get the job or at the current role?
Let's say now for Faiza, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, for Faiza, she said she was in the EdTech space before, and now she transitioned into tech. And then in her current place of work, she has to learn a new skill, a new tool. And for Jacob, some of the tools that he currently uses, he wasn't like using them way back. In his previous role. So he had to upskill himself, if I'm correct. And then some of the roles he wanted to actually apply for, he couldn't apply for them because there were restrictions on his visa. We're still going to come to visa, question around visa and stuff, but like, that's just what I was asking. Do you like understand what I'm saying now?
Yeah, I understand what you meant. I thought it was going to start from challenges I faced while getting the role. But
oh, you can start from that too.
Okay. I think, well, I'm just trying to navigate towards what I think people want to hear. No, not just okay, let me say it this way. One of the first things I noticed while trying to get the job was, as data analyst in this UK, one of the first things you should do before applying for jobs is to research. Look at what recruiters are looking for. What kind of skills are they looking for? Then specific to, I think you should also have a mindset of being specific, have a niche. Don't just apply for, like I did then, was easy to apply. Finance analyst, finance data analyst, health tech data analyst, don't just go around you might think, oh, just because you need a job, apply for everything and anything. But if you have a niche, it's easier to do that research. Oh, okay. To be a finance analyst or finance data analyst in the UK, what kind of skills or what kind of tools are you expected to know? Is it Tableau you are expected to know? Is it Power BI? Do you need to know Excel? Then are there specific qualifications that would give you an edge over others? I think that's one of the first things. So, but have a niche then. What skills do you have? I easily found out that for what I was applying for data analyst jobs, I have a portfolio of data science because I was training models. My portfolio had me saying I predicted the accuracy of a model. That's data science. It's not actually data analytics. I wasn't analyzing anything. So that there can be a disconnect if you're not particularly sure of what skills are required and what's in your CV, and how does your CV present to a recruiter? What do they see? Because they don't know you, they don't know what you're capable of. Their first idea of you is your CV, and it's just a few pages. Now, I know for some people on this panel, a lot of people have like 30 pages CV. For example, Victor now. I know if it shows you his CV, my own CV is like half page.
Victor, is it true?
Victor,
Okay,
defend
it was
yourself.
half page, like let's say nearly 3 months ago, it was like a half page, but by the time then again, another thing that's important is the mindset. Aside from the skills or tech skills that are required, the mindset also required to apply for jobs. All the experiences are useful. It's like saying, I learned calculus in school, I'm not using calculus now. I think you should impute all these experiences. It might be, let's say they're looking for a strategic planner, and in your house, you're like the firstborn. You're the one that goes to the market to strategize how to buy. These are like things that you can incorporate into your CV as experiences. I'm serious. I think have that mindset that every experience, it might sound funny, but it's the truth.
Because
You might not be as a privilege as somebody else that, as like Victor, for example, like if you've been able to organize these things, been able to work in these places, you've had a whole vast of life experiences and so many things to do, but you can use things that are also in your own region or your own space that you've done, that you've achieved, and structure them. I think it's about the packaging and the presentation majorly. So aside that, I think the mindset, the tech skills too that are required, check, okay, today I was applying with Python. I know Python, I know R. And what they require is SQL, Excel, and Power BI. Just SQL, which is like the most important data analytics tool that you have. Excel too. I know a lot of people that all they do in their job is just Excel. So people have never used, and they are data analysts too. And you can even imagine the things that you can do with Excel these days. Research to find out those skills that are actually required. Don't be applying for a role that requires Excel and you're applying with Azure and Python. It won't, if, for example, your CV has to pass through the ATS, it won't pick, they will have programmed it to pick up specific things and keywords, and you're putting things that are not so applicable to the job. You might have more experience than the role requires, but if your CV does not conform to what is required, so you might even do a bit of research on the company to see whether they use the ATS or so. So you are putting things that are, and I know one trick that people use these days is to word your CV or your cover letter in a way to fit the actual job descriptions. Repeat their words back to them. So that way you have, I think the general idea is to have a high level of similarity to that particular role. So for me, when I came into the job role, it was SQL, and like I said, even during the interview, I told them I wasn't so well versed with SQL, but I had an idea. Secondly, there are some Azure rules that I had to learn. So when I got into the job, anybody learning SQL today will know this is a very particular thing. I can say it anyway. You use, if you're writing functions in SQL or writing, I'll call them functions, you use keywords. Those keywords use a capital letter. But currently where I work, it has to be in small letter. There's a way they indent, there's a way they margin. So one of the things I have to do is look at scripts on a daily basis, look at the ones that are problematic, look how I can rewrite them to better optimize them for performance. Now, when I look at a script with my own knowledge of the select has to be in capital letter, this one has to be this way, this one has to be written this way, I find it's like reading Yoruba with Ami again, all over again. So it seems a bit different from what I'm used to. So I think for my first 3 or 4 days, I had to take the script, rewrite it in using the way I know how to write it for me to understand it, then having to change it back. But I think over the past few weeks now, I've been able to, okay, understand, okay, this is the way they want us to write. There's a particular template we have to follow. And those are the basic adjustments you have to make at the job roles. And I was quite vast with AWS before, but I've worked with using certain aspect of it, but here they use Microsoft Azure instead, which is quite familiar too. But that's another thing I also mentioned during the interview, like they wanted someone that knew Azure, that knew how to use SSMS. Whereas all I've used for SQL was MySQL. I never used Microsoft SQL Server before. So I told them this, but I think it's the way and the confidence of not just how you approach the job itself, having that mind. I think that's why I think mindset, I have to mention the mindset. Mindset matters. If you feel something is going to be difficult for you, it might actually be difficult, but the way you perceive it makes it more difficult. But if you have this mindset of, okay, well, it's going to be difficult, but I can do it because I've done this one before. It changes how the difficulty level the things that you face, and it also affects how you see these job roles. You see a role, they have so many things lined up. You have to know this, you have to know this, you have to know this. I think it scares a lot of people, and which is, I know from the recruiter end is wrong. But you realize that most of those things that in the job are not something that they require you almost immediately to know. Even if it's one thing you know out of the whole role, apply for the job, emphasize on that particular thing, and take that confidence into the interview. I know this, I know this. When I was asked during the interview, like, have I worked with Azure before? Yeah, I told them I was in a team of people of data. We had a data engineer that was doing basic major part of the Azure, but I wasn't so interested in it. But I had an idea of what he did, and because I had a very small idea, and that was why I told them. And even with that, I think they acknowledge the fact that, oh, okay, you might not know this thing, but you have a bit of the idea of how to use this thing. I think all those things gives you more confidence in applying for a particular role. So I think I'm digressing again. But well, in terms of my challenge at work is majorly the templates we used to write is different from what I knew before. I wasn't quite familiar. Well, okay, let's start from MySQL wasn't that about a level where I will feel very confident at the job. But in 2 weeks, that has already changed. I can say the expertise I've gotten in these past 2-3 weeks at this particular role is more than what I would have learned by myself in the past 4 years. But then I know that, okay, now I can say that I'm an expert in writing SQL.
Wow.
But whatever fear you have in maybe seeing a job ad and thinking, oh, okay, this might be difficult for me to apply for. I think first of all, have that mindset that, okay, you can do it, you can do almost anything. Anybody that has come to this UK to do MSc probably can do almost anything. Have that mindset first. You might not be getting the jobs for certain reasons. Maybe you're applying late. Some jobs are already filled safe. But I think they are obligated to still put out the ads. Maybe your CV is not particularly similar to what they are looking for, the way you write it, the way you present yourself. There might be so many faults, and you have to do all this research to find out, okay, would this recruiter see me as the best fit for this job? Another thing is to imagine yourself in the role. Oh, and that's where having mentors or connecting with people also matters. People that are doing data analytics job in the UK, what are they using at their role? What do they do? This goes away. This goes a lot to give you confidence during interviews. If you can see people, if you know how people work at this particular role, it gives you more confidence in answering questions. That's another thing that gave me an edge. And for people that think, okay, everything is just tech, I think it goes the same way for jobbers, and the things that you see might be, maybe you're just an accountant and you use Excel back home and they use something different here. Make that research to understand, okay, what do they use here? And I think you can always see these things on LinkedIn. Check through, okay, what are the skills they require? It might be social skills. It doesn't have to be just hard or tech skills. It might be soft skills too. What are these skills they require? Are these things imputed in your CV? I think that generally covers what I think about and the challenges. I know I've talked a lot. Sorry, I apologize.
No, it's actually fine.
Okay.
I can be like that too sometimes. So
And
No
I
problem.
have some questions for Victor, so I think that one will come later.
You have questions for people? Okay, yes,
Vic-
you can. For Victor,
Yeah,
yes, we're going to go into the Q&A session very soon, and you can ask anyone question. So this next question goes to Jennifer. I hope Jennifer is still very much with us. Hi, Jennifer, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So I asked Victor this question before. I'm just gonna ask you again.
Okay.
So Victor has told us the advantage Global Talent Visa
The opportunities.
yes, for him in his
Yeah.
career path. Can you tell us what this has actually the kind of advantage it has for you in your own line of work? I mean, you're into product management, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Sorry, just a second, please. Sorry, apologies. I think to answer that question, it is not really, the opportunities are not really career specific, because the visa gives everyone probably the same mutual benefits. For
Okay.
example, the whole job sponsorship thingy, right, is applicable to everybody. Because usually when people meet you, the first thing they ask is, "Oh, are you a student? Did you come here through school?" I know I'm working. Even if I don't specify, "Oh, I'm on a Global Talent Visa," right? And if you say, "Okay, you're working," or "Did your job get you a sponsorship?" Right? So, like universally, right, the whole idea of the UK, right, the whole idea of the sponsorship thing is being eliminated. I can remember how just even putting Global Talent Visa holder, I can't remember how I wanted it on my LinkedIn. Got me like a couple of DMs. I can remember when making my application when I was job hunting. I did come into the country like with my job from Nigeria though, but when I was job hunting, I got to realize that literally, because I had a recruiter that we became friends in this UK. So she told me that she literally searched Global Talent Visa on their back end of however they are trying to like source out for candidates, right? And they also search for Lagos, Nigeria, because according to her, she said that most of the talents, most of the best talents are from Lagos. So she literally types Lagos, Nigeria, and then CVs that had that written in their summary did pop up, right? And people that also wrote a Global Talent Visa holder in their CV did pop up, right? So you can see how that is an opportunity that had created for me. Then yeah, so for the job thing as well. Then also, I wouldn't really say so much about network, but yeah, it gives you that range of network because you are almost in the same channel or group chat with people that are unicorn founders, right? Or close to, or building really huge startups like in the ecosystem in Africa. And you guys are in the same group chat. I could remember, obviously I'm not going to mention names, but I was so surprised someone had reached out to me to say, oh, because then where I work at, they were hiring for a PM role. And by extension, his wife had needed like, he's a Global Talent Visa holder, right? And his wife is a PM. So, I mean, imagine, I wouldn't have thought I'd probably be communicating with this kind of person, right? So it keeps you in that same space with people that you can easily reach out to and say, oh, I don't understand this. I need help with this. Please help, right? So that's like one of the benefits. And obviously, unlike you that in Lagos, you were working for a UK company. I was working for most of my trajectory. They were either Lagos, Middle East that I did work for. So I remember 3 years ago when I actually made that decision, intentional decision that I wanted to relocate. I did apply for a job via Ota, and they kept remote here. So they didn't say that I had to come into the office, whatever. Got into the interview. She was like, "Oh, I'll need you to start on Monday, and stuff like that." And I was like, "Sorry, I didn't see that. Oh, you need to start like coming to the office twice a week or something." I was like, "Oh, this job is not fully remote." So, "Oh, it's hybrid, right?" And this was me missing out on a very big opportunity in an industry that I was very interested in. And I did make that choice that I needed to be somewhere out of Nigeria to be able to apply it. Because here, being in the UK and also like holding the GTV visa, Global Talent visa, I can apply to jobs in Netherlands, I can apply to jobs literally anywhere, Spain, anywhere in Europe, right? It's a lot better to apply for a foreign job here in the UK, even if it's a Canadian job or US job, than applying for that job in the US, in Nigeria, right? So, I mean, it opens that pathway for you that you can apply to any job at any part of the world as far as you are not in Nigeria. That's the most important thing there. Then I think that's really pretty much it, right? The benefit is mutually exclusive, like it's mutually beneficial to like everyone, regardless of your field, whether you're an engineer, you're a PM, you're a data analyst, you're a product designer, right? You get jobs, your jobs are not tied to your visa, it opens more pathway to other jobs. Also, like I said, you can work in any part of the world, you're a nomad, you can decide to work at Spain today, with your visa, anything you really want to do. I think it's even they're like more individual goals tied to it, because some people apply for the Global Talent visa as a route to be able to move around and not necessarily the ILR. So in such situation, I could just get my visa so that I can come here and apply for a Schengen visa, because it's more easy applying for a Schengen visa here than in Nigeria, and use my Schengen visa to travel to Netherlands or Spain and work from there. Why some people actually like got the GTV to apply for the ILR, because in situations where I have friends where they got the exceptional talent, that means they just have 3 years to walk up their way and apply for an indefinite to remain. And then the other persons, like myself, have 5 years to walk up my way and apply for the ILR. So, and even if there's even like a layoff or something, I mean, it's going to be sad news that there's a layoff, but I wouldn't feel at risk that I would need to think about the next job to hop onto. And there's that peace of mind. But yeah, probably that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. So the next one is, how can students build a portfolio that demonstrates their talent and potential? Because I'm sure a couple of us would want to do that.
Okay, so I'm going to answer this question from two perspectives. I'm going to answer this question from the perspective of students that actually had professional experiences from their home country before relocating, and the perspective of students that don't have any professional experience from their previous home country, or probably the British, international, yeah. So that means they had their home country that they moved there. They didn't have past experience, right? So maybe after uni, next thing they came here and did their masters, right? And they probably have internships here and there. So to perspective. I have just like how people actually switch, a number of people, right? I have PM friends, product designers that have switched from a work visa, right? I think this is even the most, I don't know as a product, I don't know if there's any product designer in the house, but there is this lady that has shared her story, designer babe. She's worker-wise. She did switch from a work visa, which was title-wise, to the global talent visa, right? She's publicly written about it, so you can, I mean, anybody can go check it out. My friend, I have a friend of mine, she thinks she's doing higher graduation this June, but she had finished a while back. I don't know how the system works here. You might have finished a while back and then you're doing your graduation like an entire year or something. But she's on the global talent visa now, right? Then she was on the student visa. Yeah, exactly. But she had experiences as a PM back in her home country, Abuja, Nigeria, to be precise. She was a product owner, product specialist, and all she had done was to, now there's always one thing I always advise people: keep your evidences. If you write Substack articles, if you, as a PM, when I was working in the Web3 space, I would write product articles telling why I built an XYZ product or why we decided to build this product, and my name is attached to it. I take screenshots. I keep it in a folder. Anything you do, just make sure that you are not taking screenshot that is probably showing the company's resources, like company's intellectual information, right? But just parts that are just basically showing the title of work, the work you're trying to do, and your name, that you're the one that is preparing the documents, right? Take screenshots, keep evidences, because one day you would leave that company, except you're the one that is founding the company, right? So she had kept screenshots. Obviously, she had good standing relationships with people, because one of the things I don't know if Victor mentioned is you would need reference letters, recommendation letters, as much as possible. So she had like good standing communication with people, and not necessarily your employers too. Like you can get a recommendation letter from somebody prominent in the society within the particular sector, academics, tech, that can write about you and testify that, oh, this person has been doing well in the ecosystem. This person will do well when they come to the UK, right? They'll obviously attach their LinkedIn signature, letterhead, you know, whichever it is, right? It's part of the requirements to make your application. I think it's a minimum of 3 recommendation letters, but you can have as much as possible, even 10, right? And the way I used to say it is that I usually try to tell people that for your evidences, let's say you're writing, you're trying to show your technical and commercial contribution of your work as a product manager at Lizapi, which is what I'm using myself, for example. And in such evidence, you would say here is a reference letter from the CEO stating about my good works or what I have done, which has been highlighted in this evidence. Right. So like I said, she had, and this is, I'm interchanging, right? So I was talking about that my friend that was a student and is now a global talent visa holder. So she had experiences back in Nigeria. She compiled them. She had reached out to prominent people to help her with recommendation letters and all of that. She made the application and she got it. Like I said, storytelling is very important. They want to know, even if they want to know that you back in wherever you are claiming to, right? In your submission, that you had impact within that society, you had impact within that ecosystem, right? So she wasn't really, it's really not home office business. Like she's not talking about she's a student right now, not talking about, no. She said, oh, in 2019, when I in Nigeria, I worked as a PM, to build XYZ for this kind of people, whatever. Her focus solely was even her personal statements, right? So your personal statements, you're talking about your trajectory in your career, right? And what your trajectory might seem like when you come to the UK. So I'm sure in that personal statement, she must probably have mentioned that she's a student, yeah, but more like, I was a PM, I did this, I did that. I came to the country to study this, which is going to enable me to become and I foresee that I actually want to work in Manchester because it is a tech hub and whatever. If I'm able to do this in Nigeria, talk more will happen when I'm in the UK. But all those main evidences, the 10 evidences that you need to submit has no business with you being a student, right? It's about your professional experience, which she has. Now, I think I've dealt about people that have professional experience back in their hometown before relocating over. For people that don't have the experience, if you are making that decision right now on this call that you want to apply for the Global Talent Visa, my advice would be that I would be lying to you if I say after this call you can apply for the Global Talent Visa in the next 6 months. Reason is people that have applied for this Global Talent Visa. Now, Victor did mention that there is the exceptional promise and there is the exceptional talent. An exceptional promise category means that you have been working in the ecosystem for less than 5 years. And an exceptional talent means you've been working in the ecosystem for more than 5 years. So that means you need to have at least, if you're being truthful to yourself, a year experience, right? So that you have something together. You need images, right? You need links. You need someone to talk about you. So it would be a lie for me to tell you that, oh, after this call, in 3 months, you can go and apply for the Global Talent Visa. Probably would not be possible except you're, fabricating evidences, right? So now you have to posture yourself, right? Look for local communities. Try to create a pathway, to be an expert in your field. You can be an expert in a junior field. You don't need to be an expert in a senior field, right? Write about things because you can also put about your blog articles, right? In your day-to-day time, there's a part of the evidence that they say, oh, how did you contribute to the advancement of the technology sector aside from your day-to-day job? Which means I could take Rukayat as my mentee, right? And at the end of the day, I'll take a screenshot of, Rukayat coming to meet me, right? Saying that, oh, help me out in Kiniko, right? And, her success story, this is where I've been able to impact Rukayat, right? So this is how I've been able to impact more than 5 people. The point is that particular evidence must not be a paid mentorship. So you look at the criteria that is needed in the technician article and start working your way towards it. So we've solved for mentorship, right? Then the actual jobs, internship. How did you play your role? Maybe you got an internship in JP Morgan, or you got an internship in Bloomberg, or any of that, right? Start working your way towards that. Speaking evidences. You do not need to be a senior person to be able to speak. You need to speak at what you know you're good at, right? It could be speaking at some seminar at Bolton University, just something small, right? It doesn't also have to be a physical event. Virtual events are accepted, or you need to show screenshots of the number of people that joined. Circle it, highlight it, right? This is the impact of what this topic is supposed to be, right? You need to be very intricate. So do not delude yourself that you can actually apply for the Global Talent Visa in the next 3 months after this call. You have to look at those evidences that they want and start walking your way towards it. So that by the end of your 1 year in university, at least out of 10, you've probably covered for 5, right? And the other 5 is actually, because there's the mandatory criteria and there's optional criteria. And the mandatory criteria is actually even talking about actual work done, right? Where you worked. I worked at Fondo, I worked at Lisa P. That's what the mandatory criteria. And the option, I'm talking about the impact of what I did at Fondo and Lisa P. For the mandatory, I'm talking more of my roles, my responsibilities, the feedback cycle, just something really generic, right? But the optional is more about impact. I'm talking about my contribution technical and commercial contribution. What I built, how much did it make the company? What I did, was there an internal tooling? Right. So you just know that by the end of your stay in school, you've covered at least halfway of the evidences that are needed. And, you know, even I believe maybe it's possible during summer breaks. I think they do internships. I don't know how that works. But you are really intentionally working your way into roles that can be very beneficial to your application. I hope I didn't digress, and I hope I said everything I need to state. Yeah.
So while you were, addressing that question, I just remember that, oh, really? So this particular event could be very beneficial if I decide to apply. So I decided to take a screenshot. This is me, doing as you were saying.
Exactly. So when you take a screenshot, you will not highlight your name, Rukaya Balogun. See my name. It's me. It's me. Yes, this is me. Right? You highlight if I can highlight your face as well. Oh, I'm the person here, and I'm the one that was leading this thing. Then you go and take a screenshot of when you DM'd me to say, oh, we're inviting you for something, right? Yeah. Or you are the co-host of something. You're part of this panel of the speaker, just really say yourself, even if you have to use, big, so I led and I orchestrated and I something, all those things. Yeah, exactly.
The way you have put the office itself is giving me one kind of vibe that, oh yeah, go girl. Maybe I'll come for tutoring after the program. Thank you very much. Okay, so my next question, the answer to the question is very fantastic. I think a lot of people have actually gained insights on what Global Talent is about, what you can gain having the visa, and how, even though you've not necessarily talked about step by step what the application phase actually includes, but we have a broad overview of what we should know about the visa application, which is very, very important. So I think anyone that is on this call right now, if they want to go into that route, can just go onto their websites and see what they need to do in order to apply for that visa. I don't know if your DM is available for anyone that has questions to ask. Maybe they can connect with you on LinkedIn, ask a specific question about application. I hope you're not going to charge.
I think I'm just going to attach to the chat an article I wrote regarding the application. So that's more public to everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice. Thank you very much, Jennifer. So I'm going to zoom up again and ask our alumni some questions, and then we're going to zoom down again. And I don't know why I'm zooming up and down, but I think that's just the way the spirit is leading right now, I think. All right, so this question, I don't know if Faiza is here, but I hope she's still here. This question is tailored to Faiza. Faiza, are you on this call?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. So can you recommend any industry-specific organization or events for international students? I'm sure a lot of us here, I'm not confident. Let me just say it now. A lot of people here on this call have not been to a social gathering that has to do with what they are learning in school. And that's because most of us here, we have a notion that, okay, we deal with school first, after school, we then start job application. But based on what you guys have talked about right now, you don't have to wait till when you're done to start applying. So, the question, can you recommend any industry-specific organization or events for international students?
Industry-specific organization. Are you asking where people can apply to?
Or if you know of companies that make it less stressful for students to apply. I mean, I went to Auto Trader. I was part of Auto Trader's Curiosity Camp sometimes last month. So what this Curiosity Camp was basically all about is they wanted to they are looking at recruiting more female in the organization. And the Curiosity Camp was just about how we can explore the opportunities at Auto Trader, how the recruitment phases are like, what are the things that we should be doing. It even went up to the point where we were asked to, share our LinkedIn. They wanted to check, stuff like that. Even if we don't want to work at Auto Trader, they wanted to help us get other jobs, like jobs at other places. I'm sure a couple of us might not have actually attended something like that before. So, and it's good that we start looking at those kind of like specific areas, because of course we don't know how this job market is, because it's different from where we are coming from. So are there insights on how we can go about things and make it less...
There are several should I say organizations that help make it easier for people to navigate the job market. There's 1,000 Black Interns. That's an organization that is very helpful. There are also some that are tailored to women, which I can't really remember their name right now, but 1,000 Black Interns it's amazing. They will teach you how to apply for jobs. When you apply, they have certain companies that they want you to work for, so that's super helpful. Honorable mention, JP Morgan. They make it very easy for international students to apply for their jobs, because they have several jobs where they just want you to apply. They're happy to train you for that role. Yeah, and I know that the University of Bolton often has job fairs. I know that there was one I attended as a student with Barclays Bank. So yeah, I think those are the ones I have. And if I do remember any new ones, I'm happy to send it across to the data community, of course.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Faiza. Abdulrazak. Abdulrazak, are you on this call?
I didn't realize I was still muted. And in addition to what she said, okay, let me start with the organizations first. All these big companies in the UK, you can just go to their website and check their careers. You see some roles to apply for. A lot of them have summer internship, and I think a lot of them have. I used to have. I think the best way to make it easy for you is to probably Google top 100 companies in the UK that are taking up graduates. I think I used to have a list of that, but I don't know where exactly it is now. So most of these, I think it still comes down to you having a niche. If you know you want to work in Microsoft or Google in the UK, just go to their website and check their careers. They might not have, you might not come across their ads online, but you definitely see some of these ads on their websites. I think that's one of the most important places to check. Then all these job websites, so you still see some of those things there. Then all these seminars and tech hangouts and all these things. So you go there, you get to talk to people and meet people too. Some of them will tell you about upcoming events they have when you talk to them personally, and that's why it's good to network. All these, I think there was one recently in Manchester. I can't remember the name now. I think there's another one in
GTX.
Yeah,
I think.
exactly, GTX. And it was quite fun. I didn't get to go, but I had people that went.
GTX? Sorry, novice in the house. What's GTX?
GTX is kind of like an annual fair. I went to 2022 on actually.
Okay.
Yeah, these are places that you can go and meet people. I'm talking about, okay, I think first thing is check websites of companies you're interested in. Check their websites. You definitely see things about internships there. Even all these job sites like Total Jobs and all, they do have internships too mentioned or listed. I think the best way is to Google and check for these things. But aside that, networking, going to the events. I think there's another one coming up. I think AirLogic is going to have an event in June. And they're a very good company too. And a lot of people will also come for the event. So you can go there, meet people and talk to people. They tell you about opportunities that are coming up in their companies. think there's a big London event. I think that's in September. So events are nice places to meet people and learn about their companies and upcoming. And some of them even bring their recruiters along. I know last year I went to an event in London and I got to talk to 2 or 3 recruiters, and I was able to ask personal questions like, what kind of, if I came into I wanted to join your company now, what would you require me to have? And some of them even bring their interns that just became. So aside checking online, aim for going to events too. It might seem like a waste of time, but you will collect Biro and their book and you collect souvenirs, but also remember to collect number of recruiters too and talk to
connect with them on LinkedIn.
What?
And connect with them on LinkedIn.
Yes, talk to them, talk to their recruiters, like ask them this question. They are obliged to answer you most of these things that you ask them. You might not be able to, I don't think a lot of people have talked to recruiters in this, I don't know, but for me, aside the ones that directly connected with me and the ones that I met at the event, but I think that's a place to go to ask them these questions personally. Some of them might not, it might say, okay, I'll check our website, and I realized that going to these events, a lot of summer internships I did not know about, that it was not even coming up or showing up on my own radar. They came to tell me, oh, we're going to have this thing in January. Oh, sorry, it's too late. We'll get this thing in. And the one that Bolton did for us too, when we came in, we were fresh then. They brought all these companies to come and talk to us. It was unfortunately for us, then we were still students, we couldn't. I think those are places where you can see opportunities.
Yeah.
Just once you position yourself for these opportunities, you might put yourself in a place where it's going to be within your radar. You constantly check up on LinkedIn, you set alerts for these things online too. They get to come to you. Then make connections, reach out to people. If you know, like Faisal that is working, if you want to work where she works, talk to her. That's another thing to make.
Your number.
I've already connected with Jennifer on LinkedIn. I've gone to search for her. I want to leave this company to go and join JP Morgan. I want to go to product management. So that's how you make connections and you check for opportunities.
Yeah. True.
Thank you.
Yeah. Actually, I'm just going to buttress on what you said about attending events. I know of data community events that holds every month in Manchester. Some of these events, when they hold, the what's it called? Companies that attend those events, their recruiters come and say they have so job positions available. If you are actually interested, you can tap into that. It happens every month. If you sign up on Meetup, on if you just Google Meetup and just sign up, and then you follow depending on the kind of role that you're, the kind of community that you want to join or the kind of career that you're intending to venture into, you can join the community and get updates on when they have their next meetup. I've been opportune to attend a few, and the last one I attended, the organizers actually took time to check my LinkedIn profile, and then it was highlighting, okay, this, you need to work on this, these are things you need to put on there, remove this one, do that one. So if Rose, and then he asked me to constantly reach out to him. If he has job opportunity, he can always shoot it my direction and stuff. So these are opportunities that we want to leverage on. But staying in the comfort of our rooms, applying might not really get us at the forefront of.
Okay, let's go pull up, baby.
Sorry, Victor, you want to say something?
Victor.
Okay.
Sorry, can I maybe add a few things there?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so this is especially, so when I was in school, I kind of remember the events you guys mentioned, 22 where University of Bolton, I went there. At the end of the day, I connected with a few people. It didn't pan out or thereabouts. But one thing is, when I was in school, I used to go to a lot of events. The DTX 2022, I remember I went. We used to have this open web application security meetup we used to do every month, and I used to go there. And another thing is, networking does not stop. I think for me, the greatest networking tool I've had so far has to be LinkedIn. When prior to my current job, I left All City Council about a month or 2 months back. I drew up, by the time I started that job around May last year, I drew up about 15, 20 companies that I wanted to work. A number of those companies, somebody here works there, JP Morgan. I drew Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, Meta, the Tesla, and everything there. And overall, in about 20 companies, I knew one person in one of, at least maybe out of 10 of those companies that could recommend me for a job. And at the end of the day, that was really what came to happen. You know, the job where I'm currently working, yes, I do have the competency and everything, but the fact that somebody literally said, you know this, you're probably way better at it than I am that I'm working there. And this person literally just recommended me or sent me directly to one of their internal recruiters and everything, did the interview and started a job or whatnot. So when it comes to networking, LinkedIn for me, everybody might have someone, they might have some other alternatives. Another one has been Twitter. The number of people I've met on Twitter Spaces, I'm kind of like a Twitter addict. The number of people I've met on Twitter Spaces, it could just be some random US space opened by someone known in the field, talking about, cybersecurity and everything like that. Thereabouts. And we're talking, eventually at the end of the day, people are like, oh, I'm here in London. Somebody could be like, oh, I'm here in Leeds, I'm in Edinburgh or something thereabouts. And, we connect, and from there, it has manifested to be something very important. The person I know in BlackRock, we met on Twitter Space, literally. Another with maybe Bloomberg or whatnot, we met there. So the tools and everything exist already. And social media for me has been it. LinkedIn, Twitter has been my most fruitful networking tool, if that helps. So I think those are the kind of things everybody should key into. If there's a company you're hiring there, I'm a Nigerian, obviously I'm going to be a bit partial in terms of reaching out to the Nigerian person there that probably also has similar background in terms of maybe also schooled in the UK, was working in Nigeria, schooled in the UK, then he started working in the organization. So what you should probably do is look for someone in that organization that has like a similar similar trajectory, such as the one you have. Somebody that has similar experience that you can be like, oh, this kind of looks like a copy and paste of my background. That's something I can say everybody should look towards. Reach out on LinkedIn. You can send 10 messages in a day or in a week and nobody replies you. It's fine. Move on to other people. You'll be all right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for that wonderful insights. So we have covered like almost all the questions, I think. All right, so this next question goes to, so we've talked about professional networking on networks on LinkedIn and recommending industry-specific organizations or events that we can attend. So now, I think this question goes to each and every one of us. Has there been a need for a professional? I think for you, Jacob, I think you must have actually acquired one or two professional certifications for your own.
Yeah, so in cybersecurity, certifications counts. And certifications go as much as they can. But when you have a combination of certifications paired with experience, it makes you go further. People in data, people in software development might not, certifications might not be a thing for them, to the best of my knowledge. But if you're in cybersecurity, if you're a DevOps engineer, if you're in DevOps, if you have something like a CKA, CKAD, Certified Kubernetes Administrator, if you have an AWS, if you have an Azure Administrator or things like that, those will certainly help. If you're in cybersecurity, if you have a CISSP, CISSM, if you have a CEH, even though it's rubbish, even I have it. I wrote it a couple of years ago. Nah. So if you have something like maybe you want to go into DevSecOps, at the end of the day, have an idea of where you want to go into. But for me, as much I can say, I have an idea of what I do. I'm also a bit of a generalist. Especially when maybe you're going from a junior to intermediate role, you probably have to be a jack of it all. So, for example, I can work as a DevSecOps engineer, I can work as a cloud engineer, I can do pen testing, I can do, currently at my job, I'm an analyst, I'm also a malware forensics analyst or thereabouts. So learn as much as you can. If your industry requires you to have 1 or 2 certifications, yes, it's going to open, just kind of have that certification to jump through the hoop of ATS or HR filtering. That's what I count certifications as. For me, and most especially, a lot of people do certifications. They just read dumps, they cram dumps, ABCD, Babadada, CEC, things like that. You know the answer, you just dump it. But the knowledge and the value you gain from reading through it. I'm somebody that if I have the energy and the strength, a PDF of a 1,000 page, I can get a printer, print it out, and start reading it. I'm just going to know that it's going to take me a month or thereabout to read it. But the fact still exists that the knowledge you're going to get from it, if you're doing a certification, make sure you get that certification to the fullest. Make sure you get every benefit you can make out of it. Get it, get the certification, get the knowledge. You should be able to talk the talk. You should be able to do what that certification says you can. A number of times, people acquire certifications and you can't do basically the average things that is in that certification. So while, yes, certifications do help, the best thing is going to be you having a combination of experience and certification. But if you don't have that experience, make sure that what's in that certification that you've read and you've answered and you've gained it, that you can't do them and you have the knowledge. That's my opinion about it.
All right. Thank you very much, Jacob. Abdulrazak?
For me, the only certification I have on my CV doesn't even relate to the role I have now. I have a Google digital marketing certification. So I think just like Femi said, is based on your, and just like I said at the beginning too, it's based on your niche, and your job role too. I think for BAs, business analysts sort of require certain certification.
Lots of.
And I think, just like I said too, it's the role matters. If it's an entry role, they might not require you to have so much. If it's a junior or a senior role, they require you to have certain things. And it's dependent on the companies too. Do they require you to have a certification? Do they want you to get it as you are on the job? Or so I think that matters. I don't want to say much before I start digressing again, but I think it's specific to, for me personally, I don't have anything that, even the basic Azure foundational thing that I thought it would require you to have to get this particular, but it depends on the job, the company, and the role majorly.
Okay, thank you. Faiza?
So because my experience is a little different, I wouldn't say a certification is necessary for entry-level roles. It's advantageous if you have it, because I myself only got my first certification a few months into my job, which was the AWS one, which was what was needed for my role. I think for each person, it would be important to look at their field, just like Abdulrazak has suggested, and see what other people that are in that entry-level role have. So if you've looked at your field and you see that, okay, most entry-level engineers have maybe an AWS certification, you might indicate that you're working towards that certification. You don't necessarily have to have it yet. You just need to indicate that, oh yeah, I'm also working towards getting this certification. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. Thank you. Victor?
Yeah. So I think from my own perspective, what I would say is to like optimize like your resume. I don't think certification is like maybe as a core requirement, to be honest. It's good to have them. If you're in all of these like PM role, maybe cloud, like what Faida said, it's good to have those certification, but I don't see them as like main thing that gets you the job. I think the best thing that people can probably just do is, if you don't have the experience coming from your home country or where you are coming from, try to get anywhere you can, like probably intern just to get experience. Like optimize your resume properly using like ATS standard. Like make sure that it is like well properly written. Then apply for jobs that are the size of what you are looking for. Like if you're looking for entry-level role, apply for entry-level roles. If you're looking for a mid-level roles, apply for mid-level roles. Because what I've realized is like for jobs here in the UK, if you apply for a mid-level role and you apply for a junior role and you're a mid-level, they still reject you. They don't think that because you're a mid-level, you can fit into a junior. So apply for exact role that fits into your current situation. So that's what I think. And it's okay to have certification, but I don't think it's a must. Yeah, that's just like my own perspective. It's okay to like really have them, but I mean, it's not something that I feel like it is what will get you the job. It is possible to have it and still not have the job. I just think it's just very good to like have your like resume well optimized, and of course like your LinkedIn properly also. So that's my perspective.
Thank you.
Sorry, back, please. Let me add to what they've said. I think coming from saying, because I don't have any certification in any certification might have set me apart or something. So I think it's like this. Like I said, if you check your CV and you assess your CV for a job and you see, oh, this my CV will probably get me this job. But let's say there are 100,000 jobs in the UK for a data analyst, and there are like 1 million people looking for. I'm not saying my statistics are not correct, but I'm not saying that there's high competition for these roles.
Yeah.
And you have half a page of a CV. Imagine the best CV in your mind and know that, okay, this is what I'm competing against.
Yeah.
Look at imagine what these people have and look at where you stand. That proper self-assessment of yourself. Oh, this particular role they are looking for, if I present my CV, do I even deserve this job? I think, I'm not saying it to like kill our confidence. No, I'm not saying like to kill our confidence, but it's just to get you prepared for what is there. You're competing against people that probably have experience back from Nigeria, maybe like 7 or 8 years experience, and we are competing for UK entry roles. So have that general preparedness of mind that, okay, I have to put my CV in a phase that this is what people will see. This is what a recruiter will see and use it to assess me and come in for this role. Yeah, so certifications are quite good. They show, aside from showing you have competence for a particular role, even those unable tend to just answer questions, but it shows competency, it shows your how do they call it in this LinkedIn world? You are a self-learner, you have this positive attitude it shows that you have something that you can build on and you are trainable.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to have those things on your CV. Even for data analysts, that I don't think you need to be certified, but another thing I kind of am doing presently is I know some things. I watch maybe 2 hours or 3 hours videos on YouTube on a particular skill, but I realize, yeah, nothing says I know this skill on my CV. So I tend to just go and look for maybe a 1,000 naira Udemy course on this particular thing and do the course on Udemy. They just have that certification. Okay, yeah, I'm certified for this, and it can show up on your CV, which makes a lot of sense. Then all this LinkedIn learning too. You can have those certifications on, it might just be storytelling in data analytics, 1 hour. It doesn't matter if it's 30 minutes. Get a certification for it and put it on your CV too. It helps you to compete against the best CV in the game. And that's why certifications are quite good. Yeah, some people are doing it without certification, but I think the whole point of this conference is just to know how you can position yourself to get these opportunities.
Yeah.
And always imagine in your mind that you're competing against the best people in the industry. Not really. No, I'm not competing against them, but just imagine it to, okay, I'm competing against the best people. And my CV has to be is my own image. Put your CV in that best position and it gives you a fair standing. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Is Jennifer still on this call?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I'm multitasking. If
Oh.
it's all right, could you repeat the questions that everyone has been answering?
I have to take that again. Give me 2 seconds. We were asking about okay, how can international students gain relevant experience or certification? So basically the question is about like, do you see certification as a need in your own line of work? I mean, you can't speak for other, like.
Yeah. Even at that question, I might not be the best person to answer. This is the reason. I transitioned without taking a certification.
Okay.
What I had was transferable skill sets. I had transferable skill sets. I had the opportunity, and then that opportunity basically was more like, oh, this person, Jennifer, wants to become a product manager, and she's really great with documentation. She's great with this, great with that, and person just really took a bet on me, right? And I think after like 2 months of internship, they retained me, and when I decided to take certification, I think it was like a year after, which I didn't even finish because I was like, well, I know these things. Why am I even taking them? Like, because I wanted something that I didn't know, right? But right now, I'm looking forward to taking certification on either .NET or MySQL, because what I currently work on as a PM is on payment reports and data feeds, and I feel like I need it, right? I'm not too sure when I'm going to take probably like a PMP or some product management course. I would, but I can't really say, oh, it's relevant, it's not relevant, because I have gotten to where I am without having an exact certification on my CV. I think the only certification I probably have is from Bloomberg Launch Program on ESG, and I did mention that I studied accounting, so I have a certification of valuation, financial valuation. From that. So I'm not really the best person to answer this question. I think it's relevant. I really like it when I see people have them, right? But you can have them and you don't probably have the practical skill sets, but it can position you for the practical skill sets. So that'll probably be my best response to that.
All right, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Jennifer, Victor, Faiza, Abdulrazak, Jacob. I will not say thank you to Joel. So this is question time. I don't know who raised up his or her hand first. I'm just going to go by what is on my screen. So I have Opeyemi. Opeyemi, are you still on this call? So if you want to ask a question, please
yes, I am.
by raising your hand. And then I'll give a shout out. All right, so Opeyemi, you can go ahead and ask your question.
All right, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for this wonderful section, and I'm happy I joined. Though most of my questions have been answered partially, because when we started and everyone was introducing themselves, the first thing that came to my mind was, it's easy for all of them because they have the experience. So my first question was, let's assume for someone that's probably a change of career, what you did in your BSc is entirely different from what you're doing as your MSc. And probably what you're doing now, you have interest and you want to build a career on it. Okay, I studied data analytics for MSc, and I'm glad most people did that here, but I have no experience at all. Like, I did a different course entirely for my BSc. And I feel probably this 1 year, what we were taught, or like our lecturer would say, you're level 7. So you don't expect me to start from the scratch. So fine, we did what we could do to pass and graduate. But let me talk for myself. I feel like I don't know it, but I'm interested in building a career in these aspects. So my question is, to me, if you ask me, most people will be like, I shall navigated through the school and I passed, but I can't do anything. Like, what is your advice for someone like us? Then, I want to build a career on it. And in UK, they like experiences, they love references. Let's assume I even want to go into the entry level. Like, I don't have the experience. I don't have any reference from anywhere. What can I do? Then my second question is on the Global Talent Visa. I'm a fashion designer. Fine, I've been trying to see ways in which I can enter through the Global Talent. I never heard about it. I didn't know anything about it until recently when my visa was about expiring. And I know definitely I can't do anything on it. So I tried talking to a few people and I was introduced to someone that said, I have to pay £12,000. I don't need to do anything. They'll do everything for me. Because I know this is what I want to go through. I feel it's even better I do the stuff myself. At least if I'm talking in future, I can actually have proof that I did this, I went through this, than someone just saying, bring this amount, just go and relax, we'll get everything. Fine, even the amount, like I'm a student, I'm still trying to gather school fees and someone is telling me bring £12,000. And it was even specified that your visa application is not included. That's just for my own workmanship in Nigerian. And I feel like we are the ones that are trying to instead of making things easier for ourselves, where do I start gathering £12,000? I have a family and stuff like that. And another thing about the Global Talent Visa, like everyone that has it here now, I think most people, except for someone that came through the entrepreneurial, most people it's based on what they know from way back. They had the experience, they have evidences and everything. Fine, when I learned the job, I just did it for I just want to learn it just for myself because I love fashion. And when I started doing for myself and when I step out, people will be like, I love what you're wearing. And from then I started making for people. And aside for social media handles and others, I don't have any anything that even if I want to apply for this visa, I don't have anything or any experience, or I don't even know how to go about it. So I don't know, probably for each of the kind of routes that we can enter through the Global Talent Visa, probably if we could get someone that has gone through that exact line, that can be a mentor just to make things easy. Because the main thing in this UK is information. By the time you're trying to look for easier ways, most people, what they want to do is just look for ways to extort you. Fine, you spend, you use your energy too, but at least it should be easier. I chatted someone and the only thing was £12,000. I was even trying to say is there, and she was like, you have to pay 80% upfront. And when we've gotten your documents, you pay the remaining 20%. I just had to end the conversation there.
Could you round up your question? Other people would like to also add.
I'm done. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
So Victor, I'm going to be calling on you to answer this particular question because you are vast in capacity building, and you are also a Global Talent Visa holder. So,
okay, so I will start from the last question because that's the part that I got very clearly. And I want to say that number one, £12,000 is a lot. Global Talent application in its real sense, the application fee is right now, it should be around £700. So it depends. I don't know what package that person is trying to do for you. Maybe they are trying to build up a profile for you that you don't have or something. Maybe you are paying something.
Kindly mute.
Or as a fashion designer, as a fashion designer, I've not applied as a fashion designer, but The route is just more like, if you're a fashion designer, show them the works that you have done. Let me tell you what you need. You need 3 recommendation letters. Now, I can share a link that explain the things you need for fashion. So the challenge is like, this information is scattered across the internet. So in most cases, to gather them in one place is the major problem. So what I will just do is like, I will share a link to gov.uk itself that explain that there is fashion allowed, because the endorsement body that checks for people that are in fashion industry is different from the one that check for us. There's an endorsement body that check for people that are artists, like people that are like singers, entertainment, and all of that. But I will just share the link with you. But what you need majorly is you need 3 recommendation letters from good fashion designers that can say that your work is amazing, your work is good. Then you need pictures of clothes that you have designed. You know, things like that, that this is what you did, this is your clothes, this is the people using it, you know, all of those things. So after you have all of those things together, you write your personal statement, you make your CV, and then that is all you need. Now, when I say all you need as overview like that, is very basic. It does not mean that's just everything. Those things you have to go in details for everything. So what we can do is like, if I try to make some connection and get someone that is a fashion designer that has applied, and if the person is willing to share the exact template they use, you can just leverage that. But I will tell you for a fact that you should not pay £12,000 for that.
Where is the money?
Like, even if you have the money, number one, let me tell you, it doesn't guarantee that you get it. Now, nobody can guarantee, like, it doesn't guarantee. So it's going to be like, at the end of the day, lose the money and all of that. So don't just pay £12,000. Application fee is 700. The only thing you now pay for after that is you pay for, what is this thing called that we always pay for? NHS. You know, the NHS that everyone pays for, like after that, that's all. So, and I'm sure they are just taking that 12K from you just to pay your application fee and probably, you know, owe the remaining 11,000 something. That's a lot from any perspective, no matter the knowledge that is in the person's head. So the only thing you need is like, get those 3 recommendation letters. I will share the link here. I think I had to, like, when I had £12,000, I had to look for the link for you. So this link is majorly for fashion designer. It's on gov.uk straight. See, don't try to read anywhere. Just read this particular link and devote your time to it. You understand? And there are people that have done it as fashion designers. The best way is just to get someone's template, someone who has done it and has gotten it, and just replicate it and present your own. I know that it is hard to do global talent when there's no template. There are people that have spoken with that, okay, are you applying from engineering perspective, business perspective? This is like my own template. They use the same template, people get it. So there are things like that. There is a template to what your evidence will look like. So she might find it hard to like, I mean, you might be finding that hard right now to like drop down. But I tell you for a fact, don't pay anybody £12,000. It's too much and they can't guarantee getting you the visa. Whatever they tell you is just a bunch of content and trying to market and get money to their pocket. So yeah, that's like what I will like put in that perspective. And in terms of like capacity building, can you Rukia, can you help me like paint the question again? What exactly?
So she said she doesn't have background in she's currently studying, or she has, I don't know, I think she said she
No,
Or if
she's
she
studying
can
something
just
else
like
in
iterate it.
undergrad.
data
She's studying
analytics
something else
and
in
tech,
undergrad.
and she's coming from a different background, and she doesn't have like a portfolio of project that she can display to get like an entry role. She's looking towards, you know, being gainfully employed as a data analyst and stuff. So
Okay.
a major concern for her. And then another route would be going through the global talent visa.
All right. So I think I just like explained the global talent visa. If you have experience working as a fashion designer, you can like apply through the route of fashion designer. And since you don't have any experience as a data analyst, so there is what I would just suggest is this. Apart from what you are doing in school, I mean your master's, take a course online. So this could be with like there's Treford. I think Treford.Africa, they train people on data analytics. They do like all these like yeah, I think they do that particular course. Or online course, as the case may be, it could be on Coursera. But what is more important after taking the course is like to get an entry-level role. And there is this platform I want to recommend, Sparta Global. Let me type the name. So what they do is like they deal majorly, they're in the UK here. They deal majorly with like entry-level guys. They take you in, They train you, they connect you to people. So I'm sure they're in Birmingham, Manchester, different places in UK. You know, so you can easily sign up because they don't have like detailed requirement. They are majorly built for entry level. They train you, they deploy you. They train you as an entry level person, then they deploy you to companies. Yeah, of course, they make money like through the person and all of that. But that is one of the things that they do. But what you can do for yourself right now is learn a skill. Get any of your friends or anybody that you know that you just need an internship experience. I realized that without experience, it can be much harder to get a job in the UK. Like it can be very, very hard because even with experience, sometimes it takes a lot of time. So without experience, it becomes much more difficult. So once you learn the skill before you finish your master's, if you are not done yet, look for anywhere to get internship experience. Don't worry, it can be a Nigerian company. Just give them this idea of, guys, I just want to work with you. I don't even need to be paid. I just want to work with where data analysts are working so that you can use that as an edge for your role. You understand? That's like what most people like tend to do. And then you can like defend whatever you are doing in that company, and that can lead you to getting your next role. And just apply for entry-level roles and look for platforms like this Sparta Global that are taking people that are just like trainees, train them and deploy them. To be honest, that's what I think. But I think you should take an external course beyond like your master's. Yeah. Every other thing around what we've discussed before, which of course goes around like optimizing your LinkedIn, prepping your resume to be fit. Yeah, I think, to be very fair, each of these things are like sector demanded. Like if you want to talk alone about CV, it will take time. Just alone about how your LinkedIn should look like, it will take time. So if there are people that can explain those things to you at length of this is what your LinkedIn should look like, this is what your resume should look like, it will be very amazing. If you set your LinkedIn properly, even data analytics recruiters will probably be entering your DM.
Yeah.
And asking you that they have roles. Are you willing to do? Are you up for this role? Do you have this opportunity? Are you looking for new opportunity? Are you looking to leave your new job? A lot of people will be getting that. Yeah, people that are like working already. Are you looking to leave your job to another job? So that's like what I will advise that you do, Okoyemi. Yeah, I hope that makes sense and that's helpful.
Yes, I would like to also add to that. Because we are both studying the same thing, I can say for sure that it's not that you don't have projects to showcase, it's that you don't see those projects as a project to showcase. So in the first semester, I don't know if you are on an 18-month program or a 12-month program. Either way, if you're on an 18-month program, you'd have minimum of 3 projects to showcase. If you're on a 1-year program, you have 2 projects to showcase. What I would advise in this scenario would be to use the skill set that you have gained during those projects that you have done. For example, in semester 1, you worked on crime analysis. What are the skill sets that you actually gained during working with that particular project? What are the tools that you use? Use that, add that as a project on your LinkedIn and talk about how you can even upload the project on LinkedIn and talk about what you did while doing that particular project. And then semester 2, I don't know if you're on an 18-month program or a 12-month program, like I said again, in semester 2, we just finished a project on weather. What you want to do is to go on LinkedIn, talk about that project. I don't know if semester 2 you've done presentation, talk about how you defended your project, the tools that you use, why you chose a particular machine learning algorithm. Talk about this project, talk about it like it's a project that happened like yesterday. Like you don't need so much, because a lot of us believe that we need like a million projects to showcase our skills as a data analyst and stuff. But you don't need so much. You only need like a few projects that you have confidence that even if somebody wakes you up 12 a.m. in the midnight to talk about, you are confident about everything that you've used. I'm not a recruiter, I'm not into HR or anything, but I'm sure one of the things that lands you the job is your confidence level about the tools that you have used and what led to your choice of using those tools. So I think that's just my own 2 cents about it. So Okoyemi, I hope that was like useful for you. All right, so the next person I'm going to be calling to ask a question is Abiodun. Your hands is raised. I don't know if you still want to ask. question or something.
Yeah, good evening, house. I think I've been raising my hand now for over 2 hours.
I'm so
Yeah,
sorry about that.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I sent something to the chat bot early before now that all what I've been hearing is about data analysis, information technology, and the sort of I didn't see anybody talking about those people in management science, maybe those in accounting, the supply chain management, in the logistics development or international business. Nobody's talking anything about that. All what I've been hearing is about engineering, data analysis, data analytical, information technology. And I think the topic that was sent to my mail that I responded to that I'm going to be a part of is navigating through UK market. I think when we talk about navigating through UK market, it means it has to cut across all the faculty, all the departments, and all the fields. Just like though all what you are talking about, I have at least 50% of knowledge about it. I'm an analyst myself. I'm also an accountant. I'm also a banker. But the reason why I really joined is that I don't know. I have a lot of experience in Nigeria before I come here. But now navigating through a UK market, I'm a new person here, and I believe many people on this panel are new people in the country too. But I believe we have experienced more than ourselves. I'm a new person, and I think some people have been here for 1 or 2 years. What I really want to ask about that. Now I'm an international mainstream student. I did banking and finance my first degree in Nigeria. I did economics and data applied economics and business analysis in Nigeria as my second degree. Now I'm doing international management. I'm about to start a program now, which I've already paid something on. That is a financial analysis. My question is this. When I was going through the module for financial analysis that I wanted to do, I saw something there. I saw the Power BI. I saw data analysis. While at the same center, they also offer data analysis as a main course. I'm a little bit convinced there. Though I asked the man said, when you do financial analysis, it encompasses everything. They listed about 11 courses, which includes data analysis. And at the same time, I saw another thing there that they said, okay, if you want to do data analysis, this is how much you're going to pay. Data analysis, we pay this. If you want to do financial analysis, it's a company of this. Now, as an international management student, let me use it this way. As a management science student, we all know that what is in vogue in the world today is about information technology. That you have to have if you really want to succeed in this world, that you don't want to deceive yourself, you have to have maybe something on information technology for you to succeed. Now, if you really want to, if I just want an advice, what will have me do if you're in my shoe? Well, should I go for the data analysis, which is a part of financial analysis, or as an accountant from Nigeria, an accountant from Nigeria that I want to do something here that is relevant to this market, that whether I should go for data analysis or I should go for financial analysis? That's my question.
All right. I think I'm going to say something about your question, and then I'm going to call one of the speakers to also address it. Okay. The first thing you made mention of is when you joined, you expected that the program was going to cut across all the departments in the school, and it was going to be we're going to have someone talk about your own particular career path, so that it's more like detailed and stuff. So when we were organizing this particular event, we were able to reach out to people that we reached out to a lot of people, and the people that we have here as speakers were the ones that gave us like that positive response. We would have loved to actually also include people that are in like various departments and stuff. However, I would have really appreciate if you would have actually reached out earlier when we had the flyers out, because this is like the reason why we had everyone's job titles attached to their pictures, so that you can see the people that we were inviting. I know this is a major concern for you, but I believe that you should have actually reached out. I don't know if you belong to any of the groups. Probably if you had reached out to me earlier, we would have actually found like a way of still seeing if we can reach out to people in that particular space. And that would have, been very helpful to the question that you were asking. The other question you asked about financial analysis. So there is a notion, and this is me just being like very real with you. People tend to go around saying data analytics is very simple. It's the cool oil, is the new crude oil, is the this and that. Please do not believe them. Please, I'm laying emphasis on that part. Please do not believe them. Now, I'm not going to put myself in a position where I tell you to choose one over the other. What I'm going to tell you is to choose whichever one you're passionate about, if it's international management, if it's financial analysis, because you say you have background in finance. If you feel like you're confident about your background and you want to pursue in that particular career field, then financial analysis, data analysis is a good thing to do. Plus the tools that you've actually mentioned, Tableau, Excel, they are they are tools that you can learn. That's not going to be too much for you to handle because it doesn't require coding and stuff. Like it's stress-free. So if you want to look into studying, going into financial analysis, those tools that you have mentioned, I feel individual difference, I feel it will be very easy for you to relate with, provided you have passion for it. So those two things, and getting a job in that particular career path, I believe that has actually been addressed, because you need like project to showcase to recruiters that you are confident about this particular field. So is there any of the speakers that want to, buttress on or want to answer this particular question? I've said what I feel is like the right way to go about it. Anyone want to add?
Yeah, I would like to contribute to what you said. So, okay, let me answer his question and touch back on what the question of Bayemi asked. With you, I think the first thing I tell people when they come into the UK is, you might have come here for a particular course, thinking that course is going to get you a job here, and unfortunately, it's not panning out so easy. UK does not mind you bringing your Nigerian experience here. Experience is experienced anywhere and everywhere. So even if you decide to focus your skill on looking for jobs that align with what you have, you're an accountant, you can, chartered accountant again, you can look at how does your skill set and your experience in Nigeria, how does it translate into the UK market? Do they need you to have a particular certification to go in this direction? Is it extremely required? And this is the part where the research comes in. The first thing you do when you're looking for a job is to research. Go on LinkedIn or go to any of the job sites, download maybe 10 or 20 or 30 job ads. Look at the basic requirements. Look at what, if you don't want to do the job yourself, you can use ChatGPT. Paste all these ads on LinkedIn, on ChatGPT, and tell it to like narrow down, summarize to you what you need to get this particular job in the UK. And that's one part that I think a lot of people don't pay attention to. Research. Find out what skill set you need, and you might be surprised you don't even need to have any particular certification to get that particular job. But do that research first. Ensure you find out which certification is in there. And the easiest way to do this is to look at the job ads. Look at what these recruiters are asking for. Look at what the companies are asking for. Then again, you can go on LinkedIn and search for people that were chartered accountants in Nigeria and that they transition into. And like what Femi said, so you might reach out to them, ask them these questions. what did you have to do to become an accountant in the UK, given this experience? And you might see a lot of people that might not answer you, but maybe 1 or 2 people will answer you. I think those 2 things will help you in aligning your old skills and your, let me not call it old skills, your skills and experience into the market here. It's just that research to find out what is required. I think out of the need to get a job, we tend to look for, oh, if I pay for this course, it might get me a bit closer. If I do this, it might get me. Most times those things, I'm not saying that they are completely wasteful efforts, they are good, but most times they might not be what the problem is. Let me use that. And I will go back to what Opeyemi also said too. I think that after doing that research, find out, go online, look at what these job skills require. Oh, they require Excel. If you end up learning Tableau and you are very good at Tableau, and most of the companies you want to work with use Power BI, how are you going to be able to transfer that skill into? So I think, and that's another way of how do you now represent yourself in your CV? You found out, okay, this job requires these major things, management skills, accountant, maybe a certification and something, and some other things that now you have those skills, and how do you now present them on your CV? Because at the end of the day, most job applications require you to submit a CV. And that's, I think, I'll use this phrase, can't miss. You have to find out, after assessing yourself, find out what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong that is not getting you into the job role that you prefer, or not getting you the job, or not getting you, why these people are not calling you back. And it still comes down to your CV. What is in your CV? How do you present your CV to them? You might not have put, I saw someone's CV recently, I think about 2 weeks ago, and I like, so is this the CV that you're using to apply for a job in the UK? Giving people that you're competing against. So I think that misrepresentation of ourselves, of our skills and our experiences, what is one thing that might be holding you back. Look at your CV, look at how you are representing the experiences you have back home. It might be poor wording. Like I'm not saying that your experiences are not easily transferable, but the way you write them, the way you tell your own story might be misrepresenting you. Aside from doing the research, looking at your CV, properly optimizing your CV, going to your LinkedIn, optimizing your LinkedIn might get you closer to that job more than adding another certification or getting another, paying for another course or anything. But as for Opeyemi, moving from one job role to another job role, it still comes down to how do you present yourself in your CV. You might be coming from, let's say, a banking and finance, maybe you were doing something else in banking, then coming to data analytics. I think there are certain aspects of data analytics that requires some skills that you've used in banking and finance, and the way you put those things in your CV also matters. Aim to have certifications, which takes you a bit closer to being a data analyst. Have certifications, have projects, work on projects. It might be personal projects. Put your personal projects there. Then for you that is transferring to, I think you have to have a bit of patience in searching for jobs. Have patience as well, but still be aggressive. There are things that will give you an edge over, let's say you were coming from banking and finance, or like you said, the fashion design, and you're going into data analytics somewhere else. Look for fashion companies, organizations that are looking for data analysts. I'm very sure there are things that you can bring. Oh, okay, I was a fashion designer, now I'm a data analyst. These are the things that these are the skills that I've acquired. I have this MSc. I've learned how to use these softwares and these tools. These are the skills that I also have. These are the projects that I've done. You can even show them that you analyze fashion data sets and all. And this takes us closer to finding out people that are doing these things, people that are working, data analysts that are working in fashion design. What are they working on? Have a similar project. Tell them that you work on a similar project to what you think they are doing in the company. Write a report. The funny thing is, projects will not take you 1 or 2 days. You can finish a data analysis project in 1 day, except the data is very dirty. But you can finish a data analytics project in 1 day. And I've noticed that most of us don't even have a data analytics project or a portfolio related to the company you're looking for a job in. Let's say I'm applying to the NHS now, the hospitals to get a job. I can overnight now work on a particular data. I've heard of a story of someone that went into a normal interview. Nobody told them to bring anything, but went to an interview with a project just to present. He was not asked, but he got the job. So that, imagine yourself competing against people like that. I think he puts in a position to properly position yourself. You're coming in new, work on projects that you think that these companies are working on. You get to relate more during the interview. You get to talk more about the problems they tend to face. I think that push, but the most important thing is still, what are you giving the recruiter or the person that we see your CV and, oh, okay, we think this skill can align to what we're looking for. You've gone through, let me use the ones that you can't miss. You've properly done your CV. You've ensured that all the skills that are required for the job are in your CV. All the experiences they think you might have, and you probably all the experiences they think that they need for the job, but you don't have something that related. You can put things that you've done that is a bit related to. Let's say you're a fashion designer, then you also do jobs of, and maybe you're an entrepreneur yourself. You collect your own data yourself. Oh, I use an Excel sheet to collect my customers' orders, and all. There's a way you phrase your CV to have terminologies that are related to that particular thing. Let's say you're coming from, I like to use like banking and finance because I think a lot of people are transferring from banking and finance now. You're coming from banking and you're applying for a data analyst job. There are things that you do in banking that is data analytics related. Everything is collecting data. So it's not so difficult to come from. I think that's why people are pushing people towards data analytics. There's a lot of things that you do in your daily personal life that you can translate as CV experiences too. So don't think it's so difficult to transfer, but also have that patience. Have that patience, properly do your CV properly. Ensure that your CV can represent you for a particular role. And they always tell us to always adjust our CV to match every job role. Yeah, adjust your CV to match every job role. Once you've done that, I think it puts you in a good position. Then have certifications too.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
Excuse me, can I talk? Can I say something?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I'm not saying the data analysis is difficult, not. I've already been heavily involved in data analysis right from Nigeria. I'm just saying relevancy to the UK market with what is trending now. That what do you think out of the two, the financial analysis or data analysis, which my friend from Nigeria is a chartered accountant and a qualified banker. So which one do you think will give me an edge in the labor market? That's my question. Thank you.
I think financial analysis will give you an edge because it's more related to what you have been doing.
Okay.
That answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Broad.
Yeah, it's broad. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That where I registered to learn to do the certification, the person in charge is saying that data analysis is a subtopic under financial analysis. That if I want to do if I want to do data analysis alone, this is the amount I'm going to pay. But if I want to go into financial analysis, that financial analysis is an encompass of all these things I want to do. That is broader than doing the data analysis. I'm not saying, you see, when you have a certification now, and the certification says, okay, you are certified financial analyst, or you have a certified data analysis. You see, one sounds more in terms of technical, and I mean in terms of IT, and the other one sounds like, okay, you are coming from the management aspect or financial market aspect. That's what I'm saying. Hello, you can continue, please.
I understand your question, but I'll still come back to, you've already identified what you want to do and where you want to work and where you feel your skills are better aligned to. You can go on LinkedIn, look at the job ads. You know the kind of role that you want to do. Look at the job ads. Don't just go, okay, because something is definitely trending now. Look at the job ads and the job requirement and see for yourself, like, what are these recruiters asking for? I think that's the most important thing you can do.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome, sir.
Yeah.
All right, we will be taking the last question from Ms. Tira Balogun.
Hi, good evening. I would first of all like to appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. This was actually really insightful. And my question would be very brief, actually. So I would like to ask, so regarding the Global Talent Visa, I am currently on a COS. So apart from the fact that I think you are allowed to work any job when you're on that Global Talent Visa, what other advantages does it have over the COS? Because now I'm thinking of, I'm still trying to see if I want to change from my current COS job. But the only advantage I think it comes with is, you can work any other job. But any other job you're doing, must you still be within that job that you're endorsed for? Or what other advantage does it have over the COS, apart from this particular one I just said? Thank you.
Hi, Victor. This is your call.
Is Victor still here?
Victor,
I guess he's out.
I don't think so. But he already answered your question while he was giving, and Jennifer already also dropped off. But he already answered your question when he was talking about global visa. He said that it doesn't, part of the advantage that comes with global talent visa is that there's no restriction to where you can work. And for example, now he can switch like different companies. He can decide to just wake up one day and say he's not working for a particular organization again. That gives him like the flexibility. You can apply for job opportunity outside of UK, which your COS might not be able to which you might not be able to do with your COS. You might decide to apply for other job opportunities in Europe and other countries, Canada, US. I'm not sure about US, but he mentioned Canada. I think Jennifer mentioned Canada. So, gives you that flexibility of applying to, companies, global companies that are not just here in the UK. So that you cannot get with COS. About switching roles, I mean, you want to get a global talent visa and you want to do a particular job. Maybe, for example, you get a tech job, you get a tech global talent visa, but you want to work in fashion designing and stuff. I think that's just left to you once you have the required skill set to own your skill in that particular career path. I think you're good to go. My own opinion, though, I might be wrong, but global talent just gives you the idea behind global talent is that it stands you out in the crowd. Like it gives you that leverage over like hundreds or millions of people that are bidding for the same job role that you're currently bidding for. So I don't think it matters where you use that particular visa. But one other thing that it also does is that it counts towards your ILR. So which I don't think, I'm not so sure, I might be wrong. COS have restrictions compared to global talent visa. So, but then with global talent visa, you are like one step ahead compared to every other person that is going through some other route like work sponsorship and stuff, because anything can happen with the organization that you are working with. But with global talent, you are not tied to any organization and you have your right to leave or remain however you choose to, use your visa and stuff. So yeah, that's just about it. I don't know if that answers your question, but I know you already talked about the question that you asked about.
Okay, so thank you so much, Rukaya. So I think the main reason I asked this is because I think I joined late to the meeting, and when I joined, I kind of went online to search for global talent visa, and then I typed if we are allowed to do any job, and what I saw online was you do not have a job, you do not need to have a job to be eligible, and you
Yeah.
have the option to take up paid employment, to work for yourself as self-employed, or to become a director of a company, although any work should be within the field for which you have been endorsed.
Yeah.
Hence why I asked that must I still work, because with my COS, I must work within that job I got the COS for.
Yeah. You have the
So that's
answer
what I'm asking.
yourself. You have the
Sorry,
answer to the
maybe
question. Okay.
maybe just to kind of help, because I was also listening to Victor and I've done my own research, even though I'm not on a global talent, just so we don't have a back and forth. Main thing is global talents, you have the flexibility, you can work for anybody. Also, with a COS, if your company terminates your employment, there is a 60 days or is it a 90-day there's a 90-day whatever you have to get another job to sponsor you before you leave the UK. Am I right? So
Yes.
Yeah.
With the global talents, if they sack you, nothing happens. If you lose your employment, nothing happens. You already have your fixed either 5 years or 3 years to stay in the country, and you being employed or not being employed during that period of time has nothing to do with your stay. It's a separate thing. So those are kind of like the flexibility and the advantages of you have with the global talent visa that the COS does not offer. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it did. But I'm sorry, I still feel like I'm a bit confused. So I'm just going to like ask directly. So if I decide to get like a global talent visa under like, for example, fashion designing,
Yeah,
even if I can work with any employer in the
you
UK
can
or
work
outside the
anywhere.
UK.
If you get
So I'm not constrained to working under fashion designing. Is that
absolutely, yeah, you can get endorsed as a fashion designer and decide to go into healthcare or be a lecturer. It does not matter. They've endorsed it, they've endorsed it. You do whatever you want to, and however you deem that works with you. That's all.
Yeah, that makes sense now. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Junwon?
All right. We've come to the end of the session. And first and foremost, I would like to appreciate every one of us for joining, and most especially our speakers for sharing their experiences, their journey. Like, I was literally writing down my notebook is full actually of what I need to do. Or what, let me just mention some stuff they mentioned. I think one of the stuff is optimize your LinkedIn to fit what you are looking for, revamp your CV, like make it fit the job position. Don't just send in just anyhow CV, make it fit the job position, put in the necessary keywords, because it is keywords that the ATS machine is looking at. So you need to put necessary keywords. These are some of the stuff they mentioned. And one thing that actually struck the chord with me was niching down your CV. Don't just say, okay, data analyst. What industry are you looking to work with? Your project you are doing should be focused towards that industry. Don't just say you want to work in NHS and you don't have projects you've done on data, health data. Because if you check their job requirement, you see experience with health data. You see it there. So niching down your CV, okay, I want to work in the health industry, then do your research in the health industry. And they also mentioned doing proper research before applying to jobs. So these are some of the stuff they've mentioned. I feel this is really relevant for those of us that are still looking for job, trying to get a position in the UK. I want us to like go back and sit down and like plan again. Okay, this I want to search for job. This is the strategy I want to use. And honestly, if you have other questions that has not been answered, you can drop a message to myself or Rukayat. We would help you get the answers to them. So I want to really appreciate the speakers for tonight. They've really dished out knowledge. They've put us through a lot of stuff that needs to be known. Network, go to events, a lot of stuff have been learned today. And I hope we can utilize this thing and get the desired job we want. So thank you very much, Rukayat Balogun, my co-host, and you've really done a great job this evening by anchoring the question aspect. Like, you did a very good job. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Abdulrazak. Thank you, Femi. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Faiza. Thank you, Jacob. All of you did a great job, and I really want to appreciate you giving us your time. Thank you very much. And this is where we draw the
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Nice. And if you need the recording, anyone that needs the recording, you can reach out to Koyat or you can reach out to myself.
I will be sending it out once it's
All right,
ready.
that's fine. Thank you.
Just ensure that you've registered. I will be sending out the recordings as an attachment in an email.
All right. As I said, you get the recordings once it's ready. Thank you very much, everybody. And this is where we draw the curtain tonight.